Don't say anything you wouldn't want somebody to hear. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely corny. Okay, let me go here. Yeah, that's definitely corny. Okay, you can hear me. I like that. I like hearing the sound of my own voice. Let me make a post real quick. Oops. Oh, damn it. Forgot how I do this. There's been some stuff going on with Ari Lennox that we didn't talk about.
You said that last week. I still don't know what you're referring to.
Oh, I did. They said they want off Dreamville.
Oh,
Oh yeah, I think I did hear about that. J. Cole slipping.
It really sucks because when we think of an artist saying they want off a label like Dreamville, we instantly do we do put a name to it. It's kind of like TDE. If somebody said they want off TDE, we would think of Top Dog and Punch. But if someone says they want off Def Jam or Universal, nobody would think about it. Okay, let's. Okay, let's do audio. Ace, how do you sound?
check, check, check. How do I sound? Is the quality okay? Is the level okay? Or is the quality as bad as it was last week?
I don't remember it being
Sounds good to me.
super bad last week, but yeah, sounds alright. Ghost.
Check, 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 check.
Yeah, I would say it sounds good. I can't visually confirm if your mic is where it usually is, but as you say, it
Oh
doesn't.
my god.
It doesn't move.
Visually confirmed.
um, and then what about myself? Does the volume sound all right? Does it sound clear? And does the volume sound at an acceptable level?
Yep.
Okay. Whenever you have a second, Ace, just check out the stream. Make sure it's, I guess, streaming and the audio on the stream sounds okay. Let me drop something in the chat. Okay. All right. Okay. Pardon me. Okay. If we're all good on that, then let's push record. Let's start this thing. Start recording in 3, 2. Okay. All right. All right. We are live. We are recording. Start. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, everyone, to the Be Warmed and Be Filled podcast. We're back. We're back. And we have not all the guys here, but we have most of the guys, the crew, the family. We have Ace.
Up.
We got Ghost.
Yo.
And we got myself, QuestLando. Guys, how we all doing? How we all feeling tonight?
Be good.
Decent.
The classic line. And myself, I'm doing pretty all right myself. You know, at time of recording, we've definitely encroached on the time of the year where there's pretty much no day. Sunsets around 4 o'clock, damn near 3 o'clock. So definitely make sure y'all are making the most of y'all days these days. because that sunlight ain't lasting. And all, of course, always that thing about seasonal depression. So definitely, hope everyone's staying in line and in check, making sure they're good during these times. Let's see. Okay, but that weird advice stuff out the way. Before we actually get into like the podcast and stuff, that's always gotta do the annoying podcast intro stuff. But it's not all annoying. Like for example, if you're in the I don't know, if you're looking for new music, we provide that here. In the description below, you'll be able to find a Spotify playlist with our song selections of the week. If you're looking for the new artists to bump to, some new records to bump, we would definitely recommend you check that out. Also in the description below, we'll provide timestamps after the podcast and everything is edited. If you're a person that likes to just check specific parts of a podcast or a video, we provide timestamps too, so you can just zip around to see what we talked about. And if you want even shorter form content, I would definitely recommend going to our channel, going to the videos tab, and you'll be able to find all our videos of all our topic discussions. Yeah. And speaking of our channel, we got to do one quick shout out before we start. Pull that up, Ace. Let me switch scenes here. Get rid of that. Let me pull this up. There we go. Boom. Yeah. There's that video tab I always be talking about. But yes, salute to us, especially salute to y'all, Ace and Ghost. We have 300. We hit that 300 number that we were aiming for. So round of applause to y'all, and super appreciative to all the subs. Sometimes a little hard work doesn't hurt nobody. A little hard work pays off. So yeah, we are actually climbing. We're super appreciative to all the listeners, even if you just kind of tap in, even if you just look at the title of the of the video and go straight to the comment sections. We appreciate all y'all. And next goal is 500. And as Ace reminded me before, we even have a reward for subs at 500. So tell a friend to sub. And since we're so low right now, like we can still do like damn near deviant tactics. One strategy I always recommend is whenever you have one of your friends or one of your homies' phones, maybe you're like punching in your contact information, go to their YouTube app and go to our channel and sub up. Get those numbers up. Hey man, you might not know us now, but you're not like seeing a random video in your feed and checking it out. But I digress. Yeah, once again, thank you so much to everyone. We're super grateful, super appreciative. Gonna continue to improve the quality of the podcast and all that jazz. Anyhow, going back to here for a second. Actually, to be honest, I don't think we have any. I don't think we have any content recommendations or any warm reviews, so I think we can actually get right into the topics, unless there's anything you guys want to mention.
No, not for me.
Okay, so kind of zipping around scenes a bit, but I'm going to go back here one more time, and you can pull the first topic then, Ace. Go here, and go back here. Okay. So salute to Jaleel White, super iconic legend, family man. We were actually just talking about shows recently, and although I'm fake old, but I'm not old, and I wouldn't claim Family Matters as a show that I grew up on. I definitely remember. We definitely all remember Family Matters, whether we watched it in its heyday or watched reruns or all the Nick at Night days, if I remember, or maybe some of us haven't even watched it because we're so young here. Regardless, um, not recently, but a while ago, Jaleel White was talking about reboots, and it was off the heels of the Full House reboot, at Fuller House or whatever it was called. Um, and yeah, in discussion about reboots, and obviously Family Matters is probably one of the shows that people want rebooted the most. Yeah, he shared why he actually, as the caption actually just says, Jill White shares what his reasons on why he turned down. Yes, in fact, Jill White did in fact turn down the Family Matters reboot. Let's hear what the brother had to say.
Somewhere around 2013, 2014, I was a
Hey, it's your Uber muted for some reason.
My bad. I was just asking if you could hear that.
Yeah, we can hear it.
All right, give me one sec. I keep forgetting my sound settings are incorrect. Okay. Start this again.
somewhere around 2013, 2014, I was approached by one of our former producers that Netflix had interest in doing a reboot of Family Matters on the heels of Fuller House having done so well. And that didn't make any sense to me. I didn't feel that it was right for us to have to copy what Full House had done to fit inside someone's business model to capture the magic that made our show make sense. What I imagine for any reboot effort would be inspired by what really happened. How Family Matters came to pass is actually a greater story than what was made up inside the show. Going onto a show that was never intended for me to be the star of, making it last for 9 years, growing up on a studio lot and in public school at the same time, that to me was the greater story that needed to be told for today. When I pitched that to one of my former executive producers, all he had to say to me was, Jaleel, nobody's interested in your memoirs. But here we are 12 years later, and I think there's some people that might be interested in those memoirs.
That is it's
I'll
probably,
read it.
Not a fucking book plug. Are you kidding me?
it's probably a reference to something, but
Oh
that is
my God.
that is a wild book cover, by the way.
Yeah, it's
That's like the
hilarious.
MJ
Oh yeah.
Thriller album. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
Thriller
it's
album.
definitely on
cover.
Michael Jackson.
Is he just a fan of MJ, or is he trying to say he was like MJ? I'm not sure.
I
But
don't know.
anyway,
It's that deep.
yes, there you have it. In his own words, like the brother said, it seems like one, he wasn't necessarily too thrilled with the idea of just doing a reboot because reboots were in style because of the Full House reboot success. And also it seems like if they were to do a Family Matters updated show, it seems like he's more interested in telling a story around how Family Matters came to be instead of just Family Matters umpteenth years in the future. So yeah, that was just his views. And honestly, like I said, Family Matters is a show that is definitely a whole legend. I think arguably in the top. Here I go with one of my just random arbitrary
top 17 sitcoms of all time.
I think arguably the top 25. I think that's a comfortable.
That's even worse. 25? Nah, bro. That's like that's not even a ringing endorsement. That makes it look worse in my eyes. At least top 10, at least.
Well, the problem with you specifically is you be forgetting there's like thousands of these things that exist. So if something's in the top umpteen percentile, it's really good. But fine, I'll top 15. Top 15. Take me top 12.
That's a little better at least.
Regardless, it's definitely a show that I think a lot of people would definitely want to see more. Even though I think the homeboy that played Eddie is. I'm not gonna get into some of these things. It's something I don't know if all the characters would be fully on board to jump in something like that. But anyway, Well, I'm kind of curious to know what you guys think about his perspective on that. More so, just to kind of start with something relatively light. The age old question of like, uh, if there's any show that you guys could bring back, not bring back, but have a reboot to, what would that be? That's really what I'm more interested. Have anything. Um, yeah. Start with you, Ace. What shows? What classic shows do you remember that you would want to see a reboot of? Sitcom, maybe a drama, maybe it was a kid show.
Not to cut you off, but
No,
I'm just I'm just wondering if when you say classic, you mean like I'm assuming you mean from our childhood, not something that's like the show ended 5 years ago, but we want a continuation. Because I
I
was
mean,
gonna say something along those lines, so it feels kind of
it could be,
cheating.
it could be a newer joint. I mean, I think people tend to call back to the classics, but it could be a newer joint.
Okay, just wondering. That was you could continue. My bad.
Fair enough. And I guess even though I'm sure you guys thought of it while I was talking, um, I'll start the ones. But the thing is, I'm relatively basic. Is the only problem. The ones that the ones I was thinking about that come to my mind is like obviously it's like Seinfeld. I know people say
Oh my
Seinfeld low, and
God.
the crazy part is like on Curb Your Enthusiasm, they actually did I don't know, a whole season, but there was actually like an arc where they were doing a Seinfeld reboot. Um, so it's kind of easy to understand that what that would look like. It's just Seinfeld scenarios were just modern day inconveniences. Obviously, mixed in the technology aspects. Hopefully, they're not still quote unquote in the dating market at whatever age they would be, but that aspect, maneuvering in New York probably looks a lot different than it did in the '90s. So yeah, that would be one of my picks. And then the bigger pick, um, which I always kind of forget, which is kind of a sus thing to say, but I am a real big King of the Hill Andy. Like like I don't know when in my life I came to just super appreciate Mike Judge or whatever the brother's name is, but yeah, King of the Hill is like it's like one of my favorite shows of all time. I'm really big into King of the Hill. And the reason why I kind of say that with a little bit of hypeness is because I've been seeing some stuff floating around, and I don't know if it's official, but I think there may or not be a King of the Hill reboot actually coming on. I think there was some like maybe you guys saw this like a little thing floating around of what an updated Bobby Hill looks like. So I
Hmm.
might be coming into this podcast one day and talking about the King of the Hill reboot did in fact happen. The only problem is one of the titular characters on the show, their VA, did pass away a little while ago. So I'm not sure how they work out. Not that they can get another voice actor that sounds similar, but the original cast is not necessarily all here with us. But all the same, so yeah, if I were to have a couple of picks, it would definitely be Seinfeld. Definitely bring that back, and King of the Hill, which may or may not be happening. But yeah, what about y'all? What do you think, Ace? What would you want, if anything, to get a reboot?
I have one show on my brain, but I can't remember the name. I'm looking it up,
Jeez.
so maybe go to Ghost and I will find it
What's the show
here.
about?
It's an alien show. It's on Sci-Fi. It only had one
I
season. It was yeah, I think it only had one season
Not
and
Psych.
it was canceled. No, it's
no,
Alien Show.
Psych had more than one season.
Not Eureka.
It's an Alien Show.
I know. I'm just naming shows that were on Sci-Fi Network. The effed up part. Sci-Fi Network's not even a thing anymore. So you talking about some
Oh,
old
it
shit.
isn't. Damn.
What's that? I thought there was a thing called.
Man, there's no thing as Sci-Fi, but fair enough.
I'll
What about
find
you?
it. I think I'll go find it.
What about you, Ghost? What show would you want rebooted?
Um, I have a few quick answers, I guess. Just thinking about this in the last 30 seconds. Uh, Funny enough, I think I'll name one live action, then I have a few cartoons. Sarah Connor Chronicles.
The
Even
Terminator
though,
joint?
yes, even though we've kind of been Terminatored out over the years with all the different reboots slash series that kind of weren't necessary. Sarah Connor Chronicles was fantastic, and I think it was like 3 seasons. But that
You
was
watched
like,
all of it?
yep, I did. I don't remember like a lot of stuff in super great detail, but I remember a decent amount of it, and like character wise, plot wise, it was very intriguing. I think at the point where I seen that I saw it, I don't know if I full on watched all the Terminators, funnily enough, from front to finish. Like I knew the concept, but the show was like good enough that it didn't even need the other Terminator movies to stand on by itself. So that will be one. And then I have a few cartoons. Boondocks,
Yeah.
which it's been discussed. It doesn't think it's happening because Aaron Magruder doesn't. I don't think he's going to be involved. Unfortunately,
Plus there's no
no granddad.
John Witherspoon.
Unfortunately, so yeah, I don't think it's happening. But if it does come back and it's by the original creator, I think no matter what direction they do go, it could be great. So that's one. Gravity Falls. I don't know if y'all have seen Gravity Falls, but it was. I mean, it's definitely a kids' cartoon, but it was like of the a kids' cartoon, but it had a lot of mature slash adult like themes and storyline was top tier. It's like
It's on my list.
pretty much
to
the
watch.
peak of American animation, the top 3 at least. It's amazing. So yeah, it was only like 2 seasons of it. Probably not gonna get a reboot, but if one did come, I know it would be amazing because if the original creator is gonna be involved, then you can tell how much passion went into the first series. So yeah, that'd be a big one. I got another one, which kind of a low key mini series, only 1 season, but Over the Garden Wall is another
What the hell
children's
is
type
that?
cartoon. It's long story short, it's about two brothers that get stuck in this uh not imaginary world, but this lost world where they're trying to figure out what's going on and get home. That's just the very short
You
version.
talking about Foster Home for Imaginary Kids? What channel was this
No.
show on? I never
Over
even
the
heard of
Garden
this.
Wall. It's a mini series, so it wasn't like a full on thing. Only like 6 episodes on Cartoon Network. But like I consistently will rewatch it to this day. And I saw this originally like at least 10 years ago, and it was fantastic. Still fantastic. It just has such a like a fall vibe, and it I'll always have a special place for it when I'm thinking about like again top tier cartoons. So yeah, if they did a reboot of that, that would be great.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Watch it. Yeah, I know you said you haven't heard of it. Watch it.
Yeah, I
Like
need to watch
you,
it. I need to watch it to even know if it's worth a reboot in the first place.
yeah, yeah.
You
I'm
know,
watching the original, but yeah, it's great. And then the very last one, kind of a cheap one, but any sequel series for Avatar, they have Legend of Korra, which is great. If they do another one, that'll be good. Kind of cheap because Legend of Korra is pretty recent, but yeah, that's my list.
yeah, a lot of people, even with the Legend of Korra, a lot of people were always asking for more original gang Avatar, and obviously they do like the live action joints, but I think people really are fond were fond of that original Avatar.
I don't even need it to be of the original gang. Like it could be completely new cast, just as long as the world is the same.
Hmm.
It'll be dope.
You know what really sucks about that Boondocks answer? Boondocks is so obviously it's one of the greatest shows of all time, and but it's so like topical. Like like every time something happens,
Yep.
people call back to like the Martin Luther King episode or the what you call it. Oh, this is the top of my head. There was another iconic episode. Oh, the R. Kelly trial episode, and just so many lines that feel like they're still like applicable today. And what sucks is because it's so topical, and it's because they could literally make an episode based off anything. it feels as if it should be in a similar class to like Simpsons or what you call it, Family Guy or South Park, where like a lot of it is just based off IRL things. And like there's so many things that even I didn't even know happened to IRL until it happened on the Boondocks, like the teacher that was saying the N word that
Yep.
happened, the little badass boy that I just
Want
want
to
to
do
do
bad
his
stuff for my
over my
friends. Yep.
friends,
Yep.
but
Even
but
the Chris Hansen episode, the what was his name? The Booty Warrior.
yeah,
That
that
has some basis in real life too.
it definitely does. But it just sucks because like I don't want to make it like a black show thing, but it just sucks that like like the black show version of topical cartoon or content is just it couldn't it just for whatever not for whatever reason it just didn't last.
Yeah, it sucks.
But yeah, no,
Get
those are
20 seasons of The Simpsons.
yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, those are some solid answers, even though I'm not familiar with that last one. But I guess that's part of like hearing your answers. Sometimes y'all come up with stuff that I never heard of. And it sounds like you were on the cusp of something that you even forgot, Ace. So do you remember what it was?
Yeah, it was called Thresholds. Um, like I said, it was basically an alien invasion show where um there's contact with aliens and a government uh group is formed to basically try to figure out the aliens intent, and yeah, that's pretty much what that first season was about. And I don't remember the story too well, but I remember
But you
it.
wanted to reboot it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we can get into that as well, like just the whole general my thoughts on reboots in general. But the thing I remember about it is it felt like Fringe before Fringe. Like it gave me
Fringe.
that vibe. Um, and just in terms of like a sci-fi show that dealt not as much with the like, oh, aliens are coming and they're attacking. It was more so like it was a subversive thing where they were trying to integrate themselves into society. And there was, these weird sci-fi concepts of like these patterns appearing and altering DNA and things like that. And so in that way it like appealed to my like fascination with sci-fi concepts in general. And yeah, so that was one show I really liked, and it was one of the first shows I remember like on sci-fi anyway, on the sci-fi channel, that I remember actually trying to watch a whole season of, as opposed to what you used to do back in the day, was just catch an episode here and there and
Yep.
like
yep.
not really know what's going on, but just be along for the ride anyway. Like I
No
actually
such thing as
tried to
continuity.
watch that whole thing. Um, but yeah, I mean, I was gonna say too, like just in general, thinking about shows that got canceled and people generally want reboots of. It's not something that I care too much about. Like in the moment, maybe, but after a while, like there's enough content out there where I'm not really ever itching for something to be something to be rebooted or to be continued. I get over it pretty quickly.
But most of the content out there sucks. Is the problem.
You say that, but my watch list is long enough where it's like I'll be occupied for a while in my, in the spare time that I actually dedicate to watching shows and movies.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I have a long watch list too. Although, is a lot of it new stuff? That's the question.
No, I don't. No.
But yeah, yeah. Obviously, we all have our shows from back in the day, or maybe even a bit recently, that we thoroughly enjoy and wouldn't mind seeing a bit more of it. So yeah. Again, obviously, there's probably something to unpack with what homeboy was saying, Jaleel White was saying about his views on not so much a Family Matters reboot, but a story that surrounds the creation of Family Matters. But
Yeah. I don't know if it's not a topic, but do
Go
y'all
ahead.
care about the origins of Family Matter? Because I
I'm
know
reading
I
the
for
book.
darn sure don't. You're reading
I'm
that
reading the
book?
book. Yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure.
Oh my god. Why
No,
do you
I didn't know
care?
there was a story behind it. Like, let's go.
Oh my god.
the thing is,
Real
while
life stranger than fiction. Like you act like just
Oh
because
my
something happened in
god.
real
no.
life
Yo,
is
non-fiction.
boring.
Get okay.
The-
All right. I've
Come
heard enough.
on, dude.
Okay, have fun. I've heard enough.
maybe I should just be on your type of timing goes and just be like, yeah, just have a blast. I was gonna say, well, I'm sure there is an interesting story, and I think one of the things we think about when we think of Family Matters is like that was an era where there was like a bevy of black sitcoms, and they were all popping. If I might be mistaken on this, but Family Matters might have been maybe not like the little first one because obviously that the Jeffersons and so they were hella old, but I think this is one of the ones that really like you said, it was 9 years. It really had a lot of longevity. So I'm sure they had to deal with struggles, and like you said, it wasn't originally intended for him to be the main character either. So I think that's also probably something that's worth interesting. And there was obviously a lot of interesting development throughout the series. But yeah,
Yeah, and I've always wondered.
for me personally, no, I'm cool. I'm cool.
I've always wondered. I'm pretty sure Family Matters and Full House used the same set or a similar set. And I know there were like crossovers with Full House too. So I've always like just in general wondered what the connection there was. I mean, maybe it is just as simple as they use the same set, but I think yeah, it's definitely worth learning more about for me.
Was the Fresh Prince crossover real? I always see that one clip of them opening the door and the dad from Fresh Prince was at the door.
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised.
Oh man. Oh, salute to Joe White. Seems like you do have some people that would have like. I mean, obviously that's why he made the little video. It seems like some people would be interested in my memoirs. That's the thing. It sounds like this is a very It's a very like Jaleel White centered comeback when the conversation is really about family matters.
Yeah, why
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
Not to say that he isn't the quote unquote pivotal part of family matters, but
There was actually there's a lot of controversy about him in
Yes.
particular, and like
I was
I
trying to
sound
avoid.
like you know,
I
but
was trying to
There you
avoid
go
that.
too. More of the story. Like
He's not gonna give it up in his book
yeah.
about the controversy about how I don't want to say damn near everybody, but a lot of people say that he was super unpleasant to work with.
yeah, if he
Oh,
does, it's
oh,
gonna
oh,
be
I
very
presume.
rose tinted glasses.
okay.
Regardless,
He's a story.
I'll still give him a salute because obviously he is super iconic. And there probably is some level. Again, I wouldn't tune into a show or read a book about it, but there is probably some level of interest in like the life of somebody that's on one of the most popular shows of all time, but also just going to dead ass regular high school. So
Meh. I'm sorry, let me stop hating.
But yes, what's the cool way to say? Now we want to hear from y'all. Drop in the comments what show, if any, y'all would want to see rebooted.
Really gotta
Hold on.
throw the plug in there. Oh, I got another quick one. We all gotta get into detail, but Ace, Rubicon.
Oh yeah.
Is Rubicon the anime? No, that's the Ruby. No, that's the Ruby.
No, there probably is an anime called Rubicon, but no, it was an AMC show back when.
Were you gonna say something? Were you gonna say something else? I actually have one last thing I want to say as well. Were you gonna say something else?
Yeah, real quick. I think this video was actually created by Simon and Schuster to promote the book. So just like as a quick like I don't think the purpose of him talking about the purpose of him speaking in this video was specifically just to talk about why he turned down Family Matters. The video is on Simon and Schuster's website. I mean, Simon and Schuster's YouTube channel.
Yeah, it's obviously to promote his book.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I got the impression it was like it was somebody asked him a question about um the reboot, and then he randomly decides to
Well,
promote his book.
well, he said that was a conversation that like what was happening like a couple years ago when it was around the time where Full House got the reboot.
Mm.
Um, the last thing I was gonna say, and I think I feel as if a good content creator throws the question at the beginning of the video or the end of the video, but I always remember though, because we're talking about reboots and things that we'd want. While I did do relatively well, and probably would have done even better if it wasn't paywall behind Peacock, whoever has that streaming service. Sometimes reboots don't look like the way we think it's gonna be. Did anyone think?
Right.
Did anyone think Fresh Prince reboot would be would have a serious tone and?
Oh my goodness, that's a wow. I
That doesn't
forgot
even
that
really
even
count.
happened.
It shouldn't even count as a reboot, to be honest, bro. Like
It's
it's just a
100% a reboot. That's like the definition of a reboot.
1,000%.
No, but it's
A reboot
if you
is you
have a
start over,
completely
like you
different
start.
cast. Yeah, they started over
That's-
with the cast. The story is, or if we're being serious, from what we watched to that
That's
first
not the
season,
point. It wasn't the point of me bringing that up, but go off.
it's like I don't even think it's a bad show, but it was barely tangentially had the same plot line as Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like
It's
original.
the definition of a reboot. I don't.
No, what? No, a reboot should be some type of continuation, whether it be character wise. What do you mean? No, why not
That's
just
not a
make a new? It's
reboot.
a
That's
new
a
show at that point.
continuation. A reboot is you restart from the beginning.
Wait,
again-
what?
Yes.
okay.
It's like you take it's a twist, or not a twist, but like a retelling of the story from another storyteller's perspective.
Okay,
That's a reboot.
X-Men '97, which is a reboot. In my mind, that's a reboot that
I
came out
thought
this
that was
year.
a continuation from what the way you
Yeah,
described it. I haven't
in my
watched it
mind,
yet.
it continued the plot line, but it was a reboot of the franchise.
I mean,
All
I
right.
guess.
Well,
like,
apparently, I completely misunderstood the meaning of reboot, so my answers are kind of invalid because I don't want any of those shows to be redone. I just want
The thing is,
continuation.
the
but-
thing
yeah,
is-
to be honest, the way I answered it was the
The
same.
thing
way.
is, that's why it's not worth an argument, because obviously we're using these things incredibly liberally. Like, if we were going back to the exact definitions, yes, maybe you would think of your answer differently, but obviously a lot of times when people say reboot, remakes, they really just mean like more content of that thing. Just like how you were saying, that's how you brought up the Avatar thing. Like, some people might consider that a reboot, but it's really just more content of that thing. I think that's what, as long as it's in the same vein.
I guess I only responded that way because you said the Fresh Prince was not a reboot. Which
Yeah, in my mind, my definition, it's definitely not a continuation of any sort. But I guess
Maybe you would
we're defining it.
Maybe you would say that's a retelling of it.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
But anyway, we're not here to get into the weeds of definitions. Again, if share in the comments what you'd want to be rebooted, remade, retold.
Yeah, tell us if we're bugging
continued.
about this definition
All
of
that
a
jazz.
reboot in the comments.
But if there's nothing else, we can move on to the next topic. Okay. So, speaking of shows or series in general, a bit on the anime side though, we talk about it all at this podcast. So, if you're not familiar, Fairy Tail, one of the best-selling, biggest animes and manga series of all time, and more importantly to this topic, the author behind it, Hiro Mashima, a whole legend. At a Comic-Con not too long ago, they attended and they were talking about, obviously, their works. And there was a quote that came from based out of a question that was asked. I probably should have looked for like a full article type of thing, but this kind of gives the point. They were, people always want to know what people's inspirations are behind their works, and in regards to how they kind of came up with and some of the inspiration behind Fairy Tail, they were quoted with, "To tell the truth, I wrote the story because I had no friends. My loneliness is what you're seeing. So, just to give some context, because I know maybe not everybody's familiar with fairy tale. Fairy tale is what I would say, and this is coming from a person that just, I mean, maybe my tone doesn't express it. I read the whole manga. I watched the entire show, and for the time that I was the space that I was in when I was consuming it, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's like there's so many elements of the story that I really enjoyed. The action, which is one of the biggest things I look at when I'm consuming a series, was on point. And it just really fit the mold of a lot of the other series that were currently running when the manga was running, at least. But if speaking very objectively, one of the things that fairy tale is known for, and once it starts to give indication of why he said that, is it's a very, like, when you think of standard anime, you have a protagonist or a protagonist. They're very fueled by the power of friendship. Like, my friends are in danger, I'm going to save the day. I'm going to, like, even though we're fighting somebody that's way stronger than us, the power of friendship is going to compel me to level up in the middle of a fight and go Super Saiyan. It's that kind of thing. There's a lot of pretty commonly used or average anime tropes in the show and in the series. Yeah, I had no idea this was inspiration. It kind of clicks because, again, friendship is the pretty much driving force in the show. To kind of give you an idea, and I guess to even give more context, the general content of the series without kind of getting into super story. It's just a show or a series about wizards and them fighting other other guilds and other wizards that are trying to ruin their day, so to speak. But also kind of gets into like what a world looks like when there's magic and when there's dragons and all that good stuff. If you're ever looking for a super basic action based manga or anime series, I would actually recommend a couple others before I tell you to get to that one. But it's one of those ones that are just so like standard that you probably have come across it in your time to some degree. And also, because I'm objective and transparent more than other people, I will acknowledge the fact that even though I get a decent level of enjoyment out of a series like this, it does have a bad reputation in a lot of anime and manga communities, even going so far as to go down history is called fairy fail. But I digress. The main thing here is the author, who is still a whole legend. I don't care what anybody says. Said this quote, and again, it makes sense if you understand what the series, like what happens in the series and what the series represents. But I'm kind of curious to know what y'all think about this this quote and this I guess what he even means behind this. Do you think that it's always understandable or typically understandable, like art is going to be reflective or inspired by what the artists experience in their life? Does that make you, I don't know, does that make overused or super commonly used like tropes more digestible, or does it make you like give it more of a chance, or doesn't this really not does this really not make you interested in does it not really feed into your enjoyment or your interest in a art or media like this, when someone would go so far to say they made a story about the people that use the power of friendship to solve their problems because they themselves experience a time of loneliness in their life? What do you think of all this, Ghost? Start with you.
I mean, I don't think it would impact my initial perception of the series either way. Like, not like hearing this author's uh like how we originated fairy tale, which I've heard of, haven't seen, I think it's kind of cool, but I
Okay.
don't think it's something that would impact my like perception of the series. Like I don't think I'll be more inclined to give it a chance if I thought, "Damn, this is kind of trash," but because he wrote it with this in a certain mind frame, or because he wrote it not having any friends, then I'm like I'm gonna stick it out just because of that. Like I don't think I would approach it like that. The origin of how an author begins work does have some small bearing, I guess, on how I perceive it. Like a lot of the stuff I read is fantasy, and if I
This is
get the
definitely a fantasy
impression,
series. Sorry.
yeah, if I get the impression that this it's some type of wish fulfillment and a lot of there's a lot of like unrealistic or idealized things that are coming about because of that wish fulfillment, and that in turn is like and I can see it in the story, that's when it would kind of like something I maybe wouldn't have noticed or cared about, picked up on before. Then I look at it and it's like, oh, this they're just trying to wish this into existence. So yeah, I think it might have a slight negative impact, but if it's like a fairy tale, this is you kind of look at it as wish fulfillment, I guess. If he wants friends and he's writing this, like, damn, if I was in this position, I would have this friends and stuff. If the story's good, I wouldn't care about that. Like, it can be wish fulfillment, so be good. But if it's contrived or just kind of bad, and it's because of a certain reason, like that's a lot big reason why like harem stuff is kind of cringe to me because
Super
it's
cringe.
like I'm not what I don't actively go out and read harem manga or romance manga stuff like that. If it comes up in a story, then I'd say romance, particularly not harem. So if it comes up in a story, it's like it's cool, it's whatever. But a lot of the times, a big problem I have with anime specifically is it'll be just a lot of wish fulfillment in oh I'm a loser who has nothing going for me, and in real life, I couldn't talk to a girl, but in this fake series, people falling over me because of some secret hidden trait that I have that isn't that's when I'm like, okay, bro, I see what you're doing here, and I don't like it. So yeah, again, all that really matters for me if it's wish fulfillment, if you're writing what you know, if you're writing what you don't know, it needs to be good and engrossing in some manner to where I look at it as like, yeah, this is a story and it's good, not just some random BS that you're writing because you wish you were cooler.
Yeah, yeah, I actually really pick up what you're putting down, and I think that's a really good example. That's another, as a person that consumes a decent amount, overly used trope, the protagonist having every even slightly attractive woman in
Oh
the
my
series.
god, bro.
They all want to be close to
Yeah,
him, um,
yeah.
and yeah, that can definitely be a manifestation of wish fulfillment or something to that effect. So yeah, I definitely, yeah, I think you're actually really on point. Um, how about yourself, Ace? What do you think when you see a quote like this from an author? Um, do you think it would make you be more understanding of a overly used trope, or does the content have to speak for itself completely?
For me, yeah, I think the content just has to speak for itself. I don't, I don't really pay attention to um tropes too much as far as like whether or not I'm going to read or consume a piece of media. Uh, Especially after catching up in One Piece and my preconceptions of that being completely blown out of the water. Um, at this point, there's pretty much like if somebody suggests something to me, there's pretty much no. I don't think there's really any story that I wouldn't be willing to at least give a chance. Even if you said like one of the tropes is based around friendship, like okay, well let's see how the author uses that and pulls it off. Like I'm not just gonna say, well no, that's not something I'm into.
Well, I'm also talking
Yeah.
about the perspective of something that you might have consumed. Like, what if you consume something and it it follows a lot of the like basic concept that you're seeing, like you've seen in a hundred other series. Um, like, doesn't that move you sometimes to be like, dang, this is like the nth time I've seen this type of thing.
So you're saying like if I've seen it a lot of times and then there's a new piece or there's a new
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
piece
I'm
of
trying to
media.
think. I'm trying to think of more examples than ones that are outside of anime. What's that term when there's a like Deus Ex Machina type of thing? Like they like the protagonist just stumble upon the thing that they need to solve the problem at hand.
Yeah,
Mm,
I mean, it is interesting because I have thought about this. Like, there are a ton of tropes that get redone and across various forms of media, and I have thought like, how is it possible that people are still like, or not even people are still making new things that interest me, but that that I am still constantly reading or watching things that blow me away, even though the actual mechanisms by which things happen are not necessarily new to me. Um, I don't really know why it works, but for some reason, if the author is telling a compelling story, it doesn't seem to matter if they're using a trope. It
mm,
can still work. So
Like
um so like you
tropes are
said,
not inherently bad. Like they're tropes for a reason. A lot of
true, that's
tropes are
very
great.
true.
yeah,
Yeah,
but we acknowledge some of
that's
them.
very
There
true.
are some tropes that can be
Yeah,
overly
without a
used.
doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess the hard thing is how do you actually say, or what what is the trigger for me when it's like, okay, this feels overdone versus it worked in another thing? I don't really know what that is. Maybe it's just like a feeling that the author was phoning it in versus um actually telling a compelling story and using I don't know, kind of like using the tropes to move the story forward as opposed to just completely relying on them. I don't know, but
Is it a predictability thing? Like if you expect a trope is coming and it happens and you're like underwhelmed, but if it catches you off guard, even if you've seen it in other media,
that
it's
could be it. That could be it. That could be it.
You
That
know,
could very well be it. Yeah.
one thing that comes to my mind, just leaning on like One Piece, since that's what you consumed. Although One Piece is kind of like an anomaly because even though, well, one
why does it
Oda,
always come back to One
Oda,
Piece, bro?
because he mentioned it, he just consumed it, so I'm trying to relate to what you can. I just
That's
said the reason.
that's fair, I
Um,
guess.
Even though Oda is like uber relies on or leans towards like other, I don't want to say tropes, but just like you, I don't want to get spoiler territory, but like there's a lot of references in One Piece to cultures and
Yeah,
other
yeah,
things of
right,
that
right,
nature.
right.
But one, I guess, thing that I don't know if I think Oda just so good he beats the test of time. He just beats the test of time. But like the protagonist that's kind of like basically an idiot, but still gets
Yeah,
by,
yeah.
and and is likable and but they can't even like they can't even go like in a straight direction for too long without messing stuff up. I think that's something that people get annoyed with when there's like a dumb protagonist and stuff like that. I'm just trying to think of
Hmm.
examples.
But yeah, I mean that's a great example. But it works like it 1,000% works in One Piece versus. I mean, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I can easily see it not working in another in another story. And
Or sticking
again,
with
like
anime, but I'm sure they do this in like other medias. The like anti-hero kind of rival, the Sasuke archetype of character.
mhm.
I think people get tired of that. But again,
Yeah,
I guess it just depends on if you do it right. But
yeah.
it seems like it doesn't really affect you too much though, in general, at
Oh
least.
no, not really. Like I said, if I find something to be good to me, it's good.
Huh?
It doesn't really. It doesn't. The tropes are not the the issue per se. It's more so. I don't know whether the story is compelling to me.
Oh, I think I. What about the overuse of like fan service sometimes?
Mm, mm, nah,
Dang,
nah, I don't think so.
this ninja's impervious.
Yeah. Yeah, fan service really annoys me. Really pisses me off.
It definitely gets like to a point and where it's just like, all right, I got you.
We
You
get
know
it, bro. You're
you know what series is almost ruined by almost, but it's like they're kind of almost doing it intentionally. Fire Force. That was
I've heard that was notorious. I haven't seen it.
like they like there'll be some time you'll just like sigh at it, just a long sigh because like come on dog.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say I don't think I haven't watched enough, but or enough anime with fan service, but I think High School of the Dead is a show that I watched that was pretty full of fan service, and I think the it was still like it still had enough. I mean, the action, the animation, and that was extremely good. So maybe that just negated it, but yeah. Either way, the story is compelling enough. I think I can look past it.
Fair enough, fair enough. One thing we're never gonna do is try to make somebody eat, not like something they like they consume or whatever the case may be. But yeah, I think in general, I think some things are just beyond tropes are just kind of reflective of what people would could imagine and would could happen in their story. And obviously, there's nothing new under the sun, so some things you are going to see happen time and time again. It is definitely super open and honest for somebody to flat out admit that I wrote this story, or a part of the reason why the story happened, the story that happened the way it did is because I did. I had no friends. So I definitely have to give a salute to Hiro, and obviously he's just a whole legend. So even if he said the most quote unquote embarrassing thing ever, yeah, I think he would still be honorable in a sense. Yeah. If other works that you may or may not know is Rave Master. That's also one of the biggest and what's the word I'm looking for? Beloved, something to that effect. Series of all time. So yeah, definitely a man of many great works, and just a legend. And he was given and he's inspired by Akira, obviously the creator author of Dragon Ball. So you can and the works are definitely you can definitely see the inspiration. So it's not just based off loneliness. He definitely is inspired by other legends in the manga and anime industry. But if there's nothing else, we'll go on to the next topic. Okay, switching gears just a bit. So, we've had conversations about I think it was in the past more smaller types of organization or groups, schools, parents, communities. But in recent times, salute to Hollywood and salute to Jason Lee, Arkansas, the state, I guess, filed a lawsuit against YouTube, claimed it is damaging kids' mental health. So, Arkansas has filed a lawsuit against YouTube and its parent company, Alphabet. The lawsuit accuses the platform of contributing to the mental health crisis among the state's youth. It claims that the platform's addictive nature has led to the state to spend millions on mental health services. Interesting. I'd like to, and they probably wonder what evidence they would present for that. The lawsuit filed in Arkansas state court accuses YouTube of violating state laws related to deceptive trade practices and public nuances. Nuisance or nuances?
Nuisance.
Oh, okay. It alleges that the platform exploited children's dopamine. I mean, Responses by exposing them to harmful content. The lawsuit states that the youth mental health problems have increased along the growth of social media, particularly YouTube. Although the lawsuit does not specify the dollar amount in damages, the state is seeking a court order requiring YouTube to fund prevention, education, and treatment programs to address excessive social media use among children. Google, which owns YouTube, has denied the allegations in a statement, providing young people with a safer, healthy experience has always been the core of our work. In the collaboration with our youth mental health and parenting experts, we build services and policies to provide young people with age-appropriate experiences and parents with robust controls. The spokesman, the spokesman of the
Nada.
company said. The lawsuit also claims the YouTube algorithm directs children towards inappropriate content, including adult material, and facilitates in the spread of child abuse material. Jesus. Well, we always make sure we specify our content is not children appropriate, but you know, if you're if you're ever looking for content for the young ones. But anyway, so yeah, like I said, I think we've seen cases like this. I think there has been lawsuits made against social media platforms like TikTok as well, and it just seems like I don't know if there's been any. I think for a fact there's been no decisive court victories against any of these social media platforms by any of these groups thus far. It is interesting to see that there's definitely a fight that continually goes on. Just with the concept of some of these more social medias, including just the video and streaming platforms are harmful to young people. So pardon me. So I think again we might have similar topics, but I'm kind of curious to know what you guys think. Even more so than this, what would you guys say? There's a couple questions I have regarding this. What would you guys? Would you guys say a platform like YouTube as expansive and like when we think of YouTube, I mean, I don't know what people think of, but YouTube is like anything and everything all at once. Like YouTube is like not just one particular piece of content. YouTube is pretty much everything. So
It's
do you
the
guys
internet.
exactly basically? Would you guys say that YouTube is inherently harmful? I guess we'll start there. What do you think, guys?
Um, yeah, I see where this lawsuit is coming from. I don't I don't think so much from the perspective of the content on the platform as much as the way the platform is set up in and of itself, and the addicting nature, or the way it like um caters to the addicting nature within people, like the dopamine response type thing. I think that I completely understand that. So yeah, that's like where I would side with this lawsuit. It's more so just the addicting part of it.
You know what's interesting? I can definitely understand how social media in general is addicting, and I've acknowledged in the past, even I took steps to make sure I'm not necessarily getting too just lost in the sauce of social media. I was make sure there are some days where I just fully separate from social media, and I think scrolling actually is can be harmful in some manners, but I don't know if I would say I get dopamine hits from going through YouTube. That's interesting, but also I'm not a young kid either. Um, what about you, Ghost? Do you is that click to you that a platform like YouTube is inherently harmful?
Um, yeah, I mean, on a base level, it's it's a video watching platform, so you can say like if there's nothing wrong with the videos, then there shouldn't be anything wrong with the platform. But like Ace was saying, some of the practices and like the way things are set up, like the shorts and your recommended videos, it's kind of designed and catered to, at the end of the day, make them money, which means in keeping you engaged as long as possible, which can be kind of predatory in a sense. But I think it's kind of a slippery slope to just come out and say that, oh, YouTube is at fault for kids, uh the content that kids are consuming, when it's like literally the internet. it,
It's pre-
if it's not on coming from YouTube, then it's coming from a different platform like TikTok or uh Instagram, Snapchat, all the other different forms of social media, which YouTube isn't exactly social media, but the videos themselves, YouTube isn't making them. So I guess that's where things get a little shaky. But I kind of understand conceptually where they're coming from.
I would say YouTube is social media.
That's
Obviously,
fair.
the
Yeah,
way
at this point, yeah.
the definition of social media is probably gotten a little bit more liberal in these day and age. But you said something. Um, oh yeah, you would say it's
Predatory.
predatory that a business wants you to engage with that business or platform as long as possible. Isn't that
Yeah,
just natural?
maybe.
Isn't that just natural business practice?
Yeah, I guess predatory might not be the best word. Trying to think. It's I don't know, opportunistic. I don't know if that's the right. It's like at the end of the day, they're really just trying to keep your attention by any means possible, even if it's detrimental to your overall mental health or
Hmm.
your the way you allocate your time. So yeah, predatory maybe isn't the right term, right phrase, but they're doing all that they can within legal bounds to keep you from doing stuff that may be better for you. Is what it boils
Hmm.
down to. But yeah, predatory has kind of a negative, very negative connotation that I don't think is applicable, but it's in that same vein.
Yeah, yeah. No, I can actually still understand what you're saying. Um, yeah. Well, I still think there could be cases made that, and maybe I'm just YouTube's biggest offender since I feel as if you look at my phone, that's the app I spend the most time on. But it's I don't want to make it myself. I don't want to make it seem like there's like any like what's the word, not like justification to it, but I also feel like a lot of the times if people or feel as if when people are using YouTube, it's just like in the background, to be honest. But maybe that's just myself. um would you guys say that YouTube is one of, if not the most harmful form of social media, or what would you say is, in you guys' knowledge or experiences, the most harmful social media application? Spin it back. What do you think goes?
Uh, well, you said the first question was if you think YouTube is the most harmful.
Yeah.
Um,
Or you think it's another one?
I think
You
like
got your
exploitative and
you got your
harmful.
IGs, your TikToks, your Twitter X's.
Yeah, in terms of like, I guess the way I would
X.
define harmful, yeah, X. The way I would define harmful is mostly like related to like children because they're the most susceptible to picking up stuff they see on social media. Is they see content that is not age appropriate and that encourages them to act in a way that they shouldn't. So with that in mind, I would say Twitter or X or whatever is definitely the most harmful because I don't think there's good age restrictions on it. You can see all type of insane, wild stuff in both posts and in the comments, responses, and that will just like completely catch you off guard. And I don't even know if Twitter has parental controls, which again, kids shouldn't be on Twitter regardless. But even if you have some type of controls on, it will
Yeah, that's
like
the parental
you'll
controls.
be you'll be in
You
like
got
a random sports thread on Twitter,
exactly. Yeah,
and then
you're
you
looking
look
after
in the
them.
replies, and then some unbelievably
It's just
wild.
straight up porn in there.
Yeah,
Like,
it'll be
it's
like
just
just
bam. Like,
I'll have to like literally close the app. I'm like, what the f is that? Because it won't even be related. It is that this even
awful.
beyond like just straight up pornographic content. There's like violent stuff that you'll see. Like, oh, you saw someone get his hand cut off on Twitter. Like, it's not that far out of the realm of possibility. But
You are not capping. I would say like, and it's kind of grim. And as I get older, I kind of understand how crazy it sounds. But I probably not in this day and age, but there was a time period where I definitely saw somebody like a person die every day, and Twitter slash X was definitely a contribute. It would definitely contribute to that.
Yeah. So
That's
I mean, with that in
crazy.
mind, I would say Twitter. I don't know if you consider 4chan social media, but if you did, then
Yeah,
that would be
definitely.
the top of the list, because I think that platform actively encourages you to be a bad person in whatever way. If it's racism, if it's, oh, I'm gonna shoot up a school, they will literally encourage you in your post replies to do it. I'm gonna kill myself, and people just sitting there laughing. Like, I think that's the worst. But that's kind of like I wouldn't
Nobody's
classify it
using
as like
that
full on
anymore.
social media, because it's like a very niche cesspool of the internet. But yeah, YouTube I wouldn't classify on that level. It can be very addicting, more addictive than maybe other platforms, but it's not gonna just show you the raw level of bad stuff that the other platforms would.
Hmm. Fair enough. Yeah, I'm not too typical fortune. I always thought that's just where all like conspiracy theories originate. um, what about you, Ace? Would you say YouTube is like high on the level of most harmful platforms, or would you say there's another social media app that kind of takes a cake as far as the most harmful social media apps?
Um, I mean, Ghost points like regarding Twitter and the how just so easy it is to see nonsense on there is like I agree from that standpoint. And also like the only social media apps that I really use are or yeah, have used are Twitter, YouTube and Instagram. I've never really used TikTok, so I just looking at posts people send. I mean, links people send. But so I can't speak on it. But to me, like because YouTube has been like personally, I've had issues dealing with how addictive YouTube is, and it's also like kind of subversive almost because you don't really think of YouTube as a social media app per se. So like it can feel a little bit like I don't know, less to me anyway, it felt like less of an issue as opposed to just scrolling through people's people's Instagram feeds or things like that. Like it still felt it's for with YouTube it can still feel like um your time isn't necessarily being wasted because like you may be I don't know watching content that seems to be more I don't know fulfilling or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I think because of that it can be just as easy to get addicted to just sinking time into watching content that um otherwise like you wouldn't even put time into looking up. Like you just end up, you know, scrolling and then just watching whatever comes up on a whim. You watch a video, then you look at the suggested video, you watch the next video, next thing you know, you lost an hour and a half. And then the other thing I found too is that like when I have used YouTube for long periods of time like that, my it can even affect like my attention span for um like reading or even doing work. Like you know find that I want to um uh like focusing on one thing versus bouncing between different things like the that's also can be a negative effect of like just scrolling through shorts repeatedly um and
You
you know
said
when I stop
you said
go
that
ahead.
via scroll. You said that via scrolling through shorts. Versus scrolling through
Yeah,
shorts.
yeah. It's definitely influenced by it, or
Mm.
has been influenced by it. And you know, when I stopped using YouTube in that way, it's almost like I can immediately see the difference in terms of like my productivity and my ability to focus on things. So it to me, like the addictive nature of it is almost just as important as the ability um to see harmful content, just because of what it can, like how it monopolizes your brain is 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 very I think is a very like serious thing. And then I'm what 32 years old. Now you think about, kids, teenagers using the app who aren't even really too worried about, their attention span or things like that, or even thinking about these type of things. Of course it can be more, even more so like of a of an issue. I mean, I don't know if it's worse in terms of like, the brain developing versus being fully developed, but just from the standpoint of being young and growing up with like that being your norm.
Mm-hmm.
I think, yeah, there's a serious problem with that.
Yeah, I definitely see what you're saying. The only thing is, I don't know, and it's obviously just like the way we interact with some of these things. Because I definitely don't even mess with the shorts and stuff like that unless it's like someone sends it to me or whatever the case may be. But I don't know, it's interesting. I feel as if like when you just go into it with the, I don't want to say intent, but the mindfulness of just like, for me, I just consume one, usually more longer form content, and two, specific content from like the specific content creators that I am interested in with interacting with. I think that's how I kind of um go into that experience, and not necessarily. I mean, obviously, who is to say
Yeah.
like I can't, like, I haven't like psychoanalyzed myself to see like what the difference is without that. But yeah, all these things could have I just don't necessarily, know if then I'm getting a negative impact that you're describing from the platform.
No, yeah, I agree. And I think like the way you use YouTube is the way that um I try to use it, like now especially now that I'm more cognizant about it.
Mm-hmm.
um where I only go on there if I have something that specific that I actually want to watch, not
Yep.
even necessarily to check in on um channels that I know probably posted. Like it's pretty much got to be something specific at this point. And then also like I think I showed you my YouTube, like I have a blocker on it now to not show any suggested
Oh yeah,
videos.
you did say that.
Yeah, and even like the homepage is just blank. Like all it's really used for is being able to search a video. So I can still like go on the platform and use it, but yeah, I have found like my tendency to want to watch more content just for the sake of wanting to watch it has significantly decreased because I'm like intentionally trying to just use it for the purpose of watching specific videos when I need to. Um, so, I mean, it just sounds like you have naturally been able to avoid like because you're not using the shorts and things like that or watching shorts. Um, you've just naturally been able to avoid like getting sucked into that cycle of just watching content just for the sake of watching it. Like when I look back and just think about times I've just sat there and like watched YouTube for an hour and a half, uh, when it's just like nonsense content that I wouldn't have even given the time of day if I actually if it wasn't suggested to me. It's like a waste. It's
Yeah.
absolute waste of time.
Yeah, I don't think well, I know none of us are perfect for that. Well, it's not YouTube. There are definitely times where I get that same thing from like Insta. It's just like you're just going
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just going through it all, and even though there might be some content that on there that you generally have some vested interest in, like digging into, like sometimes, like as you guys already know, I get stories from Insta, and that feeds into like larger conversation and things that I can deep dive on. Sometimes it's just like going down uh, rabbit holes and things that it ends up, you look at the time and a substantial amount of time that you probably
Right.
want to have to go into that goes into that. So yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely understand what you're saying.
Mhm.
I don't know. My 2 cents is I definitely, especially kind of hearing the perspective of this post. I think the content is a big driving factor for what's contributing to potentially mental health issues. I think because I don't know, and again, I'm no full scientist in this department, but I wonder if you took like the scrolling element or the constant content element, but it was all like educational content. Like what if somebody's YouTube algorithm was just like, especially for kids, like a bunch of Bill Nye, uh what's that, like National Geographic content, like it was just all educational. Do you guys think it would still have a negative impact? Like it doesn't sound like that would be the case. Like it was literally
Yeah.
math tutorials, what Khan Academy videos. like I don't know. I
I
think
think like you could still get caught in the time wasting aspect, but if it was like only educational content, I think that would be a lot better versus what is the
Yeah.
case now
and
with
I think
It
this
might be
generation.
better, but I don't know for sure. Like to me, the problem seems to be just doing things without intention. Like I
mm,
think that's really what it boils down to. And if your platform encourages that by having the um short type uh content, short reel, whatever, then I think that might be the issue.
mm, yeah,
Because again, like to me, one of like losing my attention span, like or ability to focus, that is not that's not trivial by any stretch of the imagination.
mm-hmm,
So even if like a short, even if the shorts that I was watching were educational, if the result was the same, then I would say it's still a problem. So I haven't tested that. Obviously I haven't tested it to see like, okay, if I somehow altered my algorithm to only show me educational content, would it still be okay? But somehow I doubt that it would be a good thing. I still think that monopolizing somebody's time in that way, just like YouTube's goal is only um to keep you engaged for their profit, like at
all
the at the
businesses,
at
but
the end of the day. So with that being the goal, I don't know. I doubt that it would make a difference in terms of that, like in terms of people's uh um ability to, again, focus and yeah.
yeah, I definitely agree with like the shorts thing. It can definitely be. That's why I'm pretty anti TikTok and just like that repetitive content, and it just it's never ending of this new like short form burst of content. The only thing, it's not necessarily to like push back, but I wonder if like, cause like you're saying, it's something literally messes up your ability to like pay attention for a period of time or hold your focus. That definitely could be consequential. But I guess just sticking with this like example that I don't know how much testing has gone into in general. I wonder what if they would say somebody is mentally damaged, so to speak, if they were less likely to hold their attention on one particular thing for a long period of time, but they are more knowledgeable in different aspects of life, especially ones that have some level of application, like math or like language
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
all these different things. So yeah, I definitely I'm genuinely I don't know if I can give a definitive answer. Um, if that's damaging. But one direction I was gonna go, because I was sticking on the content, I think the content is an important factor because, to be honest, and seeing this, I think we're definitely going to see these type of lawsuits pertaining to streaming services, because if we're talking about things that are harmful to youth, I love the streamers. You guys know that I probably watch streamers these days more than I watch any other form of content. Um, there are some I think streaming as influential and impactful and as crazy as some of these streamers are getting. I was just watching a streamer talk about how like the meta of streaming these days is turned into like, one, it's more IRL content, but it's also like kind of like extreme, like you just have to like be going up and down the street like annoying people and pranking people and doing all these kind of weird IRL gimmicks, and even maybe getting yourself hurt or banned or whatever, doing something that's ban worthy. I think a lot of young people are consuming that content, and I think that's leading them down like the brain rot avenues that we hear about. So that's, if I were to if I were to say like what social media, that's a social media element or a social media that's harmful, I would say it's like, again, I salute to the streamers. I guess this is an example, like not my streamers, but like the Twitches, the Kicks. I think these are like pretty harmful to especially the young folks. And don't even get me started if there's a gambling element of the streamer content. Then you're just effed up altogether. But with a lot of these topics related to social media and the impacts it can have on people's mental health and especially youth, I think it's always gonna just fall back on, and it can, and I say it's gonna fall back on, but these days, and I guess we're gonna be in that hot seat and eventually one day, but being like I generally don't know if it does. I mean, obviously it's just a matter of put restrictions or manage the devices that they have hold of, but it is not easy to just say, hey, make sure your kids aren't on social media that often, because it's damn near a facet of like life in a way in which we just didn't have access to when we were kids. So I definitely
Yeah.
I definitely had empathy in that vein. Like, I
Yeah,
don't
one
know.
thing I will say too is I do know YouTube used to be a lot worse in terms of like specifically like baby content where the the videos were created were disturbing to say the least. And it would like look like children content for children, but it
Oh, I know what you're
very much
talking
wouldn't
about.
be.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
YouTube cracked down on all that stuff. They're
Yeah, right, right.
because people
So
were making a fuss about it. They were like, "Hey, my kid is literally consuming like stuff that's I wouldn't even consume. So what's going
right,
on here?"
right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think they got better. And I don't know if like for this lawsuit is part of that older stuff like kind of bleeding into it too. Um but yeah, that's kind of what I was saying for me to in terms of YouTube, it's been the addictive nature more than the content as far as what I've seen recently.
Yeah, I definitely think about for myself like what type of content I would be super receptive to my kids consuming, like on a YouTube platform when they're at that age to be able to sit down and watch that stuff. I don't know what the meta is gonna be like in that day and age, but yeah, you definitely have to. I mean, I guess it just, but it's not. Well, it's not just as simple as saying, "Hey, be mindful about it." It's definitely, it just takes as much work as harmful as the thing could. That's, put as much work as the thing that could cause harm could cause, basically.
And there's also, I will say, there's also some good too with the children's content, just based on some of the stuff my niece has been able to learn and recite back in terms of like ABCs and things like this. Like there can definitely be a benefit to, but it of course is the responsibility of the parent to um not let it become something where the kid is getting um addicted to it or whatever.
That's I think
Food. too
That's the other
reliant.
crazy part. I would say that kids these days are more intelligent because of technology, and social media is a part of that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like the like the fact that a infant could even understand going on a social media app and what that means, or going on a YouTube app and what that means to go on there and you'll be able to find videos. That's just something like the brains and use of former times couldn't comprehend. You know what thing you know what I was gonna ask? Kind of uber random, but they always talk about the damage social media can cause, the damage you it causes when you watch too much TV or play too much video games. Dude, is it possible to I don't know, yo? Are there books that make you stupider? Like,
Nope.
are there brain rot books? Is
Nope.
that a thing?
You just said nope.
I think it'd be manga low key.
No,
Nah.
I'm talking about no pictures, just straight up,
Real books.
just straight up words, diction.
I don't think it's possible,
Yes, Ghost. Come
bro.
on, for sure, for sure.
I'm
Oh,
gonna need an example.
this,
I'm gonna need some
oh,
type of example, a genre, a series.
I mean, like these romance joints that are just being pumped out. I feel like a Colleen Hoover is an author that I know people are
Uh,
kind of decrying right now. Um, one of
oh,
her books just got
okay,
made into a
yeah.
movie recently.
I guess.
dang, just that quick, you flip, go.
I forgot about that whole.
and I guess, and I guess just because I am kind of generally curious to know in what way would a book
But
make
even then, I don't.
make a person?
Yeah, like it's definitely like as far as like lowbrow content and whatever.
Yeah, right.
But
But is it?
is it
Oh, you're saying
really
it's not
making
necessarily
you
harmful
like
though.
like I'm assuming because I don't read Colin Hoover,
Hmm.
but I've heard of. But assuming like the demographic is just mostly females that want to read something spicy, to put it
Yeah,
lightly.
yeah.
Is that really like brain rot, or is it just like kind of entertainment in a way?
I
Like
guess,
when
yeah.
I say brain rot, I like is it making you dumber? Is reading Colleen Hoover like Twilight is like the OG, and I actually read one of the Twilight books. It was
Mm,
definitely dumb. I wouldn't say it like it made me dumber, unless it's like a kid reading it, like a preteen reading it that like has their views on romance distorted because of it. Maybe, but I don't. I
but
wouldn't
yeah,
say
that's
like
gonna happen regardless. Like his views on
yeah,
romance.
like if you're an
So
adult woman reading Colleen Hoover, bro, I don't think you could say it's brain rot. Now that I think about it, I don't.
I
I,
guess I guess you're right in terms of the stuff that's popular. Like I'm sure there's extremist stuff out there, but I don't I don't I don't know it well enough to be able to to be able to name something off the top of my head.
what I know everyone hates on Ayn Rand. What's the one book? Atlas Shrugged.
I never read that.
Maybe
I still
that.
have to read that actually.
Yeah, I haven't read it, so I can't say for certain. But the way people talk about that book, they say that it's like it's based might be the equivalent of brain rot. But
Mm.
again, haven't read it, so I couldn't say. Uh, Until then, I don't know, bro. I don't know if I could say there are any brain rot books. Books are just that
I
great
yeah.
of a form of media.
I certainly haven't consumed a brain rot book ever.
Fair enough. Yeah, you know, just kind of a random question. If that really is true, like maybe like somebody that's like a professor in literature could maybe expound on why that is. But if that is the case, then I guess even though books law, I guess part of the equation is always make sure that people, especially young people, are getting a good dosage of reading.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm trying to think like what would be the equivalent of like a streamer doing foolishness on the street, but but in a book. Like you wouldn't even read it, so that's the problem.
I mean, yeah, you guys are way more avid reader than me, myself, and probably the average person. So if you guys can't imagine it, then I don't know. Um, But if there's nothing else, we can move on to the next topic. This is definitely a topic I'm pretty sure it won't be the last time we bump into it, something like it. Okay, so one, I probably should have got the timestamps ready. One, Joe Budden Podcast is another one of those platforms that is quick to get the copyright. But since we were able to avoid it last time with the Berkeley Club, that's why I even felt confident enough to bring this. And yeah, I think that's the only thing. But actually, I guess the other disclaimer. This kind of does get in, not kind of. This definitely gets into the territory of good old fashioned divisiveness, especially male and female divisiveness. But we've been good. We're one of the few platforms where even if we bump into debates, there's not usually some of the typical divisive, annoying debates that people have back and forth. So we get one here and there. So salute to the Joe Budden Podcast and all the hosts on it. They have, I mean, obviously there's no need for me to come on here and gas up the Joe Budden Podcast. It's literally that podcast. And just like any good podcast space, they bump into lively discussions, and all for the sake of good content, right? So in this particular, also I don't know if he's just doing some good amount of co-hosting, but also Mark Lamont Hill was on this podcast, and I think it was like at least one other podcast they were on recently. And I always give salutes to Michael Hill, one of the few brothers in the world of quote unquote politics that I do mind, if not enjoy, hearing their thoughts and views on some things. They're definitely a well-researched brother, and they're able to operate in spaces from freaking CNN to the Joe Budden Podcast. But anyway, so yeah, in this particular clip, and we won't watch the entire thing, but we won't bore you up the side of it. Obviously, if you want to go see the Joe Budden Podcast, go watch that, but make sure you watch our podcast first. They're talking about accountability, and specifically from what I was gathering from it, which of the sexes struggles with taking accountability more, least? Which of the sexes is less likely to take accountability, basically, male or female? So I think start actually around like so that's good if I'm in control sometime. I don't know, start at like 2 minutes. I think it was definitely like in the middle of the video where we get to this burst. It was before Mel started spoken. Melissa Ford, that is. So I guess go back 1:30.
Directly. I'm answering it directly. All men up here that's up here, we all take accountability, but the person that's a woman up here has a hard time taking accountability.
Go. It's actually in the middle. Go to a minute then. You can already hear the.
Does it make sense to just start at the beginning?
All right, start at the beginning, but just make sure we gotta pause so we're not just watching their content. Go ahead. Sorry for the annoyance, Ace. See, now the thing's bugged. Gotta refresh the page. Freaking X.
It's the fact that she's a human being and people are bad at making apologies. Do women have a hard time taking accountability? I think all people have a bad time. I asked you a direct question. Yes or no? But no. Yes.
You got him.
Okay, let me ask you. Let me ask you. Don't ask me no question. I can't. Don't ask me no question.
No, here's a better way of wording your stupid ass fucking question. Do you think that women have a more difficult time taking accountability than men do? And the answer is fucking no.
And the answer is no. That's the
answer is motherfucking no. The answer is fucking no because you guys do not know every single.
I guess we should have gave definitely a sound level warning. Might want to turn that down on even on our end a bit, Ace. But yeah, like I said, definitely, as you can hear, a very spirited and slightly emotional debate going on here of who takes accountability, who's less likely to take accountability, and it definitely seems like there's obviously folks in the room that are saying women don't take accountability, and salute to Mark Hill. He's providing that stance of people in general struggle with taking accountability, which I guess just to get a sense of how our room's feeling. And again, there's a bigger topic to discuss here, but does anyone want to put their hat in the ring of that particular type of topic? Is there any particular sex they feel struggle with accountability? It's fine if you don't. I think it's better if you don't actually. Let them do the debating.
Yeah, we'll let it play.
Okay, let it keep going.
Person on this fucking earth.
Neither do you. Neither do you.
People, just level the fucking playing field.
But you didn't just do it. You did not. You said men have a harder time taking accountability than women. That is exactly what she said.
That is not what I just fucking said.
She said, do you think women have a harder time than men? And the answer is no.
She answered it.
She said the answer is no.
So it's not people then, it's one or the other.
Listen. She said, do you think men have a harder time? She said, no, meaning they're the same. She's saying they're the same.
Let me ask you a question.
I'm literally saying they're the fucking same.
Right.
Literally saying they're the same.
Let me ask you a question, Mark. If we're up here and all...
So again, and doing a podcast, I can relate and understand. Obviously, I don't think we ever get to the point where we have. We don't these days. We don't get to the point where we're yelling at each other like this.
We are not anywhere close. We were never anywhere close, even when we had our biggest disagreements.
But I can still understand when you're trying to get your point across, and it definitely seems like people are either not understanding you, like damn near intentionally or unintentionally. You're saying your point, and you're trying to be as concise as possible, but someone's still saying something that's just like, well, so you're saying this, so you're saying that this must be this, and I'm guilty of this too. So I'm not just saying like any one of us or anyone on here tries to spin like that, but I definitely think I have empathy with this type of discussion and how it can evolve into something like this. But yeah. Like you guys are hearing, it's definitely evolving into so the one side trying to say it's people in general that can struggle with accountability or have negative qualities, but some people are pretty stuck on no. Well, if you actually look at it, it's more likely to be women that struggle with accountability. And I think it's safe to say none of us are like naive to I think that is a relatively, how should I say? That's not an uncommon thing to hear. Or is anyone lost on that? Okay. We've all heard that women accountability is like kryptonite to women. But anyway, let's keep.
You just throwing these takes out here, huh?
I'm just saying what exists in this world.
All the men up here take accountability, but the one person never takes accountability, that's a woman. Where are we basing our judgment off of?
And you didn't vote.
Maybe I'm asking you a question. Answer it directly. I'm answering it directly. All men up here that's up here, we all take accountability, but the person that's a woman up here has a hard time taking accountability.
Are you talking about me?
I'm asking you, Mark. I don't have enough information about the situation.
Pause it.
But I wouldn't ask you no question.
What the hell did you...
I'm sorry. I tried to pause and I clicked the
Just keep
bar
your finger on
down.
the pause button. Anyway, so yeah, like I said, it does get a little spicy, and but damn near at this point, I'm an expert at podcasting too. Podcast 101. If you are gonna try to like be shady, it often is better if you like. If I'm gonna say like, hey, on this podcast, one of us be tweaking, and I'm gonna say, and his name starts with G and it ends with T. I'm like, when you play that like super shady game, that's when people now you're gonna like intensify situations. So I would definitely give this brother points off because you know what you're doing. You were like that. That's just trying to create controversial content for the sake of it. You gotta just be direct. You're still get good content. But go ahead, play it.
I'm asking you, Mark. I don't have enough information about the situation. But I wouldn't assume that whatever the issue is because she's a woman. It's not a diss. It's not a diss.
Are you? Mel, yeah, it is.
You just cursed me. It's not a diss to you.
Yeah, it is.
Mel, I'm not. Mel, you have a hard time taking it.
No, I do not.
Mel,
You know what? Y'all motherfuckers abuse the shit out of that fucking phrase.
Okay.
Calm down with that shit.
Got you, Mel. Let's say hypothetically that that's true, right? I don't know anything about y'all's situation. But even if that were true, and I'm not saying it is, I don't know nothing about y'all's situation. Got it. That doesn't mean it's because she's a woman. It means just the person that she is. I don't know the situation.
That's logical.
You're right.
Look,
okay.
Keep that same logic when you start talking about other shit, though. Because under that same exact guise, then you could start to, with your racial shit when it came to Kamala Harris, then that same exact logic is supposed to be applicable there. And you pick and choose, though.
How so?
Because you're saying that she had a hard time in certain instances because she was a female, or she had a hard time in certain instances because she was black. Under that particular.
To be honest, I think we get it. I think at this point, or maybe it's a little after. Also, like as the captain says, Melissa Ford actually ends up walking off. I'm sure they come back. I haven't watched the entire podcast, but I'm positive they come back at some point. But yeah, they walk off because again, sometimes when you're having those heated conversations, you do get a little. If I keep standing next to this person, I might swing on them. So it's completely understandable. But again, so to the Budden Podcast, they know how to make content over there. And, a lot of people last time on the part because they have a bunch of people on the podcast. I think you might not see everybody, but I think even in this clip of what we're watching, at least 5 people were speaking, sometimes over each other, but they still managed to create good content. But anyway, like I said, we are going to be just a little eeny, beany, tiny, weeny bit toxic, potentially. And what do you guys think of this type of dialogue that they're getting into? Specifically, what it boils down to, they're basically assigning a negative trait to one of the sexes. And while we typically like to avoid it, let's come in here and just have a nice, open, honest discussion. Maybe we can use it to better ourselves or the better understand why the respective sexes bump into these type of issues. But basically, are you on this type of timing where y'all think that there is inherent negative qualities that the respective sexes possess?
Not specifically accountability.
If you believe accountability is one of them, have a blast. I guess I'll start. I'm throwing myself to the fire a lot this podcast, but for women, I don't really know what specific adjective to classify this as. I was thinking about it earlier. Maybe you could say it's a tendency, like a bit more narcissistic. I know that's the true word. Viewpoint, but basically one thing I've definitely observed with the women, dang, sorry, sounds toxic, is that not whenever, but there'll be some times where you are talking about a generic point, whether it be negative or whatever the case may be, and they'll bring it back to themselves. Just for a random example, from what I've noticed, or from what data says, a lot of women these days like to spend money on frivolous things. And then you'll be talking to a woman, well, what do you mean? I don't spend money on frivolous things. And that'll kind of there'll be that type of, you'll bump into that type of discussion. Like, you'll say something relatively general and they'll bring it back to themselves. And I've noticed that with quite a bit of women in my experience. And then for men, There's like the kind of obvious, but we don't necessarily talk about the not unintended, but then the unintended. I guess I'll just still reflect about where the unintended consequence of that. Men are more likely to be sexual deviant or get into that type of mode or behavior. Especially, not especially, but you see that a shit ton these days with a lot of these. Again, going back to streamers, it's kind of like becoming its own like culture of just saying like these weird random things whenever you see a woman pop up on the screen, and it's just predominantly men driving that. So yeah, I would say those are some things. Also, this is one where I probably could say it's reflective of both sexes, but also men really can be annoying when it comes to communicating certain small things. So yeah, that's also one of the negative qualities about men. But yeah, see, that's not that bad. What y'all got? What do y'all think are some?
You say that, but we ain't got a woman on the pod to refute.
You don't have a Mel.
Well, first of all, yeah, I don't think we need a woman to refute something that that I'm saying. If it's reflective of what I'm saying, then or reflective of reality, then it's reflective of reality. Second of all, we're not here to debate necessarily.
Yeah, so we aren't, but I think Ghost's point is it may have turned into a debate if we had a woman on the pod, similar to what happened with the Joe Budden.
And then I would just say I'm not debating. Go have a blast. Anyway, what do y'all think? We'll start with you, Ghost. What do you think? I guess if any, maybe you're of the belief that humans are just humans. But do you think there's any inherently negative traits or behaviors that the sexes possess?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot.
I think
there's a lot. Yeah, but I think it's a lot more measured than people would like to believe or imply. There are a lot of subtleties. Again, I guess just name one for women in general. I'd say a tendency to focus on smaller things or slights and hold on to them for a longer time or perceive them in a way that they weren't meant to be perceived just because you're reading into it too much. Like grudging to a small extent. Just
oh, like you're saying women are more likely to hold grudges?
Yes.
That's a generally held belief.
This is when I say this, I'm
see, and this is why I don't think that's why I don't think we need a woman on here to necessarily debate this stuff. Aren't men more vindictive?
Well, when I say grudges, I'm thinking more interpersonal relationships between people that you are friendly with or you are in a relationship with, and that you know, and then they do things against you, whether purposefully or on accident. And I think it takes women generally a longer time to let that go than it does with men. And you could say that, yeah, men can be more vindictive when it comes to certain things, as far as like who won't stop until they get their revenge, blah blah blah. But yeah, that's what I would say. And then
so by that logic goes,
man, not that I'll let you continue, but would you just literally talk about, oh, we don't got to debate, and then
yeah,
I'm mostly joking.
But then you said something I want to come out and debate on. What's wrong? So are you by that logic, are you saying that men are more likely to forgive?
I'd say men are more likely to not care or forget.
Right. The threshold is higher for the things that men would actually want to do something about.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay. I'm rocking.
On the male side, I think men are more likely to have pride and ego that is detrimental to their relationships and everyday life, and just like approaching certain things, getting into certain situations that a woman might be more inclined to like be smart and let it go, where men will feel the need to enforce their pride or not let something stand when you really should, and there's no real justification for you to pursue it. But again, because of their pride, you just stand on it, and it can really hurt you in the long run. So yeah, that's what I would say. Again, a lot of this stuff, it's like there's a lot more nuance. I think there's a lot of things that men and women both struggle with for respected to their sexes, but more subtle. People just like to make it some blanket thing. Like, I'm not saying that women don't have pride issues at all, or men are just prideful and women are spiteful. Give and take. I don't think there's anything wrong with calling attention to things, and I get taking offense if a blanket characteristic or quality is assigned to an entire gender, including yourself. But some stuff is true. I'll say that.
Yeah, obviously that's all going to be like the disclaimer, because obviously we're saying it, but it's up to you to believe us. But we obviously don't. When we have this discussion, this conversation, there's no weird and malice. Like we're not coming in here to like bash women or bash men. We're just giving like relatively, if not objective, things that society pretty much is a consensus on it, and there's nothing wrong. Like there's nothing wrong acknowledging things that are widely perceived or known by a group. Yeah, it doesn't mean every last man falls into the category, or every last woman falls into the category. But what I will say is, while I agree with what you said about men, didn't you just say in the same vein that women are less likely to let things go? So neither sex is letting things go? Is that what I heard?
Say that again. I'm kind of not even understanding what you're.
You said at first you said women don't let things go.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean. Yeah.
And then you said men don't let things go. So who's not letting things go here?
I guess to give examples to kind of relate to what point I meant. Like, a woman will be out with a dude.
Okay.
I'll keep it a small scale. Be out with a dude.
You're painting a picture for
us. A dude says something that she doesn't like.
Such as?
He makes a generalization about a personality trait that she has. Like, oh, you always be I always be asking if you want to go do this, and you say you never want to. And
okay, so they're indecisive. Okay.
Yeah, and then a woman might dwell on it a little longer, and it might become an argument or something that where the man might have meant it as an innocuous comment. A woman takes it more seriously than it was
calling somebody indecisive is innocuous?
This is an example.
That doesn't mean I can respond to it. That doesn't mean I can respond to it, but sorry, go ahead.
It could have been meant in a way that's like joking or not serious from the man's perspective. And then it translates into the woman taking it personally, and it evolves into an argument. And even if the argument is like, the dude says, we're out having a good time, we don't got to get into this now, and she's like, yeah, sure, whatever, and it ends up she has that that feeling of annoyance and dissatisfaction that carries over for the next few hours. Again, this is a very small scale, and just a kind of example, I think, of it could become something more serious where you end up divorcing because the man and woman can't communicate something properly, and this grudging taking on going on that's for something that's happened years ago and it was never discussed and never communicated, and the dude didn't think it was a big deal. The woman did, and it ends up morphing into something more serious. On the flip side, for a man, you are out with your wife, and a dude looks at your wife and says something to her, and you obviously have the inclination to say, "Hey, this is my woman, blah blah blah. Keep your eyes to yourself." And dude is rolling 10 deep with his friends, and he says something slick to you. A lot of dudes would be inclined to defend their woman's honor, get their ass beat for no reason when they could have just walked off because of a pride thing. Like, no one's when I say I'm not saying like you shouldn't have a sense of pride or defend your partner, but it can be something where like it's just dumb and done for the sake of you want to be tough, and then you get your ass beat, you get a concussion, and also like, again, this is a general example, but that's kind of what I meant for each aspect of the relationship. And then like it doesn't even need to be something like that. It could be your wife is telling you something that is right, but you don't want to acknowledge that she's right because you're the man of the house and you don't need to be taking nothing from no one or listen to anything from no one, and your pride won't let you acknowledge that, yeah, you're not right in this instance, and you need to take a look at your actions, but you don't want to do that, and then that prideful spirit ends up leading to you like not wanting to talk to your wife, or it leads to division in the relationship because you can't let go and admit that you were wrong about something.
I don't know if yeah, what I'm hearing too, Ace. I mean, and I don't want to like belabor anything, but don't both of those instances just sound like pride, like not letting things go, like both sexes are able to have this same negative issue with just regarding different things.
What I literally said was that there's a lot more subtlety in generalizations, or not a lot more subtlety in things that people say are exclusive for men and women. So I gave two separate examples in my mind with two different flaws, but they do have roots, I guess, in pride, you could say. I'm not trying to be super. That's like kind of my whole point. Or yes, there are certain things.
Wouldn't you could have just saved all this example stuff and just say, actually, the two sexes share the same negative thing, and I don't agree that sexes have inherent negative traits?
Well, I don't believe that because there's.
But you brought up an example of one in which
two different things. Yes, they're kind of related.
Both
they're
stem from the same general negative concept.
So I have to think of the top of my head a completely opposite different thing. Like you gonna make me walk off the pod now.
We wouldn't be able to tell if you did, by the way, but it's I am somewhat being annoying for the sake of it. I generally do understand what you're saying, and I think that you do make a very valid point in the sense that women can be more likely to not let go small things, and men because of pride of ego will create larger issues over things that if they put aside their pride and ego would not evolve and would not escalate. It's completely understandable. Ace, how about yourself? You think the sexes have inherently negative traits, qualities, characteristics?
Yeah, kind of. I don't know if inherently is the correct word, like whether it's specifically based on the sex or it is the societal norms that result in these things being kind of passed down. But either way,
we do generally mean like the men and women from our respective weird area of life, like states, across the world.
Right. So yeah, with that in mind, my two examples would be negative trait for women, generally tending to like to gossip, and just talk about people behind each other's backs. I've seen this more so with women. I don't think it's a good thing. I guess Ghost likes to do it too. No, I'm just joking.
Whoa, that's a wild joke.
Wait, what? I don't get it.
I just said it because of last week. You wanting to know so bad,
bro. What? That's not. No. Y'all brought it up. That's
what's crazy?
You brought it up. So if anything, you're gossiping. What you mean?
No.
I want to know because I can't have something brought up.
No, you said something specifically like you want to know the juicy details.
The juicy details is wild.
No, if you hadn't brought it up, I wouldn't have been asking. So
I'm just laughing at
remember
the fact
that situation years ago?
I'm just laughing at the fact that you said it was a joke, but there's going to be a joke that's always going to escalate. Like, there's no way Ghost is going to let that slide. There's no way that was going to happen.
Just throw it out there. If anything, you brought it up in the first place. This wasn't me saying something.
I don't even remember what was this. It was something about.
It was because I was. You know how I am when y'all. Someone brought something up and said, "Oh, remember this situation? Actually, I can't say it on air." And then I was like, "I mean, what was the situation? Because you can't bring it up and not expand."
We understand the general concept of humans don't like.
Apparently, we don't. Ace doesn't. I guess. I guess I'm just the odd gossip.
No, because you also said
here we go. Dig into it.
You thought that we had something like. I don't remember what your word was. Not necessarily.
Yeah,
negative,
it probably wasn't like worth the
anticipation. Please don't say juicy again. That's nasty.
No.
I mean it was similar to that. I can't remember what you said, but you didn't think it was something good. Like you thought it was something bad that we knew.
It was something that I already knew about and that I thought was minor.
Guys, remember what the topic is
because you thought it was a bad thing.
Let's not forget what the topic at hand is.
I want when there was all this build up, all this lead up, in my mind, I have a proportional level of what I think is going to be discussed, and when it doesn't meet that level, I'm like, I don't know if disappointed is the right word, but why would you build it up if it wasn't worth it?
That's the thing, like you wanted something. You wanted to hear something.
I want to be entertained.
Good. Exactly.
No,
that's what
it didn't have to be bad. It just had to be entertaining, and it wasn't entertaining.
Guys, come on.
Anyway, that was the negative for women, and then for men, just generally not. Like holding things in, not necessarily wanting or being open to discussing, like, challenges that they're going through in life, whether it be mental or physical, like, work, things like that. Like, I think men tend to hold these things in more than women.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that second one. It's kind of fed into what I was saying, about how, like, for some reason when it comes to communication, especially like relatively small things, maybe even large things, that you're kind of saying, like men just don't. You got to pull it out of the guy sometimes. The only reason why I didn't necessarily fully go in the direction of that, like fully what you're full on saying, do you think that's an inherently negative thing? Like depending on the space and like the way it can be made a case for. I think sometimes men won't come forward with things because of the way there's a we talked about this. Like men can't fully express what they're feeling, or they can't fully express what they're feeling. However they want to express it in our society. Just because of the perception of men. So
No, I mean, I don't think it's. I think it is negative because, like, if we equate it to women being able to do it, in my mind, it's like they're doing it with people um that are like their friends and things like that. It's not just like, women are just like, in my mind, again, they're not just blabbing or just allowing themselves to be emotional uh in public or things like that for the most part. So if men were able to do it, to, again, like, be more open with their, close knit group of friends like that, I don't think that would be a bad thing at all.
And I do know the answer, but you don't think guys can go to other guys or go to other guys when they're going through that?
For the most part, no. I think dudes definitely tend to hold stuff in.
Yeah, like I said, I know the answer, and that does tend to be true. That's if y'all ever take anything, not y'all's and y'all, but y'all's and audience, ever takes anything from me as it pertains to advice, because obviously, since we're all sort of predominantly men here, probably men would hear it. If you are going through something as a man, it sucks to say, we're talking about sexes, I don't typically recommend going to women in your life, especially women that look up to you for some level of like leadership or guidance or resources. Definitely don't go to them. Who you go to is your homeboys. So while Ace is 100% right that there is a lot of bottling in within men. If you are going to something, you definitely got to go to your close circle of other guys, fathers, uncles, grandpas if you have them. You definitely got to go that direction.
Just to be clear, I don't co-sign that at all. I think that's a really bad take, actually. But I mean,
why?
If you want to listen to Quest, listen.
Well, why would you ask why? Now, why are you asking why? It shouldn't be up to me.
I'll keep it basic.
No, because I agreed. So
okay, all right, go ahead.
You're saying you shouldn't be talking to your wife about stuff?
No, not negative things.
Dreadfully awful take. I will leave it at that. Awful take.
Well, you didn't expound. You didn't answer why. But anyway, you just got more clarification. I guess to give a full, even though I really don't have to give full, but to give a general full like context. If you are going to go to your with your significant other, it should be from a place of there's a solution attached to it, or the solution, or it's already resolved.
Yeah, so
by the way,
you're going through something and you're saying that you shouldn't share with your wife, who should literally be your one body, one flesh, and instead talk to someone.
To be honest, because there is a level of experience in just general, like, well, there's always exceptions to rules. This is like, I would definitely implore men to go by this. We can have this conversation, and maybe it's even worth going on a podcast. I mean, I don't know if it's more worth off and then having a podcast, but if we were going to it now, it'd probably it'd probably take a while. But yeah, while I'm never here to force something on somebody, it's like this is like a lot of truth into it. And while it sounds good, it's one of those things that sounds good, but in practice there is some level of harsh reality to it. And again, the solution is actually not even a negative thing. Like, if you have and you should have men in your life they can go to for these things, you're going to get a better result by far.
That sounds like a great way to have communication problems in your marriage. Just saying, in my opinion. But yeah, we don't gotta get into it now.
Hey man. Again, there's definitely ways to handle it, but I'm telling you, it's not gonna work out. But
well, yeah, just to state where I stand, I was just thinking of it more so in terms of, and not in terms of marriage. I don't know necessarily that I agree on marriage, but or somebody that's married, and communicating to their woman, because generally, like, my brain is 100% communication, but at the same time, Quest is not advocating for holding things in and not communicating. It's more so who you're going to with a problem and trying to find a solution and communicating the solution.
What if there's no solution?
What do you mean there's no solution? As a man,
No.
you gotta create a solution. What do you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm upset because one of my parents is going to die. There's no solution for that, and you're not going to share that with your spouse.
There's no solution.
What's the solution? They die? What?
Jesus,
chill,
hold on,
please.
Let's all settle down.
Why are you going off right now?
It's crazy.
I don't even understand.
Let's all settle down. I guess this is why it is more of a conversation that would take it's multiple layers, because no one said in no scenario in which you are feeling down about something you don't communicate that to your significant other. No one's saying that.
Now we're getting the qualifiers.
You're saying something that's kind of insane. Like,
okay. Sorry,
you're saying something that nobody said is the problem.
All right, Ace. What did you in this example? I don't understand what you even meant. So maybe
a lot of the examples you brought up were like if you're going through struggles with your job, or if something's happening in life that there is a resolution for it.
Yeah. Go to your male friend.
But I said, what if there's not a solution? There's not always going to be a solution to something.
You can still discuss it and get consolation or advice on how to just handle the thing emotionally, as opposed to being alone in it.
But you wouldn't. What? My whole point is that you shouldn't be. I'm not saying you should be alone. I'm saying you should be talking to your wife.
Again, so I'm just the man and wife, or are we talking about?
Okay, I was talking about. I'm talking about the man. I am not advocating for holding anything in. I'm saying, because the whole thing is that you should be talking to someone else, another brotherly, fatherly figure in your life before you talk to your wife, until you have a solution in mind, and then you can go through it with them. That's what I think is. I don't agree with. So when I brought up the whole parents dying thing, I was coming from the perspective of there's something that there's not a solution for.
Well, I think that gives you more some context to what we're talking about. If you would go to somebody to get some guidance, some advice, somebody that's going to fully or be able to further empathize with what you're going through, and then give some, like you said, just one of the best people you can talk to. That's where the element of something you would go to somebody to talk to about when it's more solution based. And then once there is a solution or path to a solution, then you can go to your significant others, because you'll still have some level of reassurance, which was one of the tenements of what you have to do as a man. You have to provide reassurance. If it's something where there is no solution and you are generally just feeling a level of grief or dismay or sorrow, no one's saying don't go to your significant other with that. Obviously, your significant other is they're gonna understand. Like no one's saying if you're, and I don't even like these conversations because I don't like putting that stuff in the universe. But if someone close to you pass, no one's saying don't tell your wife. Like, hey, you're gonna find out in the obituary. Like, no, that doesn't make any sense. And obviously, people are just gonna generally understand someone's close to you pass, you're going to feel sorrow anyway. But there's nothing wrong with conveying that you feel sorrow. Like,
so you're saying if it's only solution based or problem solution based, and if you can find a solution. And only until you find the solution, you talk to your wife or another female figure in your life.
That's predominantly what it is. Like
okay.
you said,
I still strongly. So your wife wouldn't have a solution then. Potentially.
I like how I said
you would have worked through it with them,
and if maybe
you don't think that they would take offense,
and maybe you guys don't be knowing the time. I'm literally looking at the 2-hour plus mark, but either way, you're not gonna say something I'm not gonna respond to if there's a relatively concise response I can give, but also we can get into it more in depth at a later point in time. No one's saying that 100% of the time your wife won't be able to give you solutions or your significant other. No one's saying that. Yeah, no one's saying that it is 100% of the time if there is a solution or not. Like I said, there is times where like going to a male or somebody in life like that can kind of help you do a process you're dealing with and kind of put you in a better mental state, so that when you go home you can address that in a more sound way or whatever the case may be. So it's definitely dependent on the context, and yeah, this is obviously a heavily contextual conversation, but in general, yes, you when you're going through something, you're gonna want to go to a male. It is what it is. Like, I'm sorry, and again, it's pretty like 90-ish% of the time. This is what you're gonna want to do.
I understand why you're saying this, but I feel like the core reason of why you're saying it, not to say is it justified or not justified, is a trust thing. Because a lot of the times, just generally speaking, I think you are correct in that women might be a little less receptive than you think than men when it comes to certain things because you have a role as provider and all that. However, if at the end of the day, like it's really, if you don't trust the person to not have a certain reaction and you don't feel comfortable with talking to them about it in lieu of somebody else, no matter what the gender, no matter what the relationship, it's somewhat of a problem because you don't trust the person like you could.
It's not a trust thing. I think that's
how is it not a trust thing?
It's not. It's you're saying it's like you don't trust the person to have to be able to have a solution.
You don't.
That's not. Oh, go ahead. What do you?
I'm sorry. I'm at the core. The reasons why you're saying this, which are valid reasons in some respects, I'm guessing. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that
you're wrong? Like, you already said it, and you're wrong. You don't have to repeat it. Like you were saying before our house, we don't have to revisit some of these things. You're wrong. It's not a trust thing.
All right,
or even if you would want to say it's a trust thing, it's like I'm trusting what was like the general concept of how the sexes can help people deal with them.
You're afraid of the response that's going to come if you tell.
There's no way you think.
Yes, that's what it really boils down to.
You don't believe that that's the logic. There's a
what other reasons?
I'm just telling you the thing you just said. You don't truly believe it. That's what I'm just saying.
I'm telling you what the reason why you're saying this is because what other reason could there be? Is that you're afraid of what will happen if you tell them? That's what it boils down to, right?
The reason in my head is that as the man, you want to have or be able to come to an issue with some type of well thought out, level-headed solution, as opposed to coming to a situation with just like the raw emotion or distraught. So if you are able to go to, let's say, a father figure to help you through that initial wave of emotion and figure out, some type of proposed solution that you can come to your wife to, it's not to say that, okay, now the wife has no say. It's whatever you already decided. It's to say that you're coming to the situation with something that's well thought out and again, not coming from that raw emotional. You're just trying to process.
It doesn't have to be well thought out. Just a thought out. Like
you're acting like you can't come with the raw emotion and then later also come with the thought out solution.
The crazy part is
you can, but I think Quest's point is
what's more optimal. Like a lot of these things, I kind of want to say the raw hot take of it, but that's going to lead it to more like debating thing. Like at the end of the day, we got to understand what is optimal and what is like likely to happen and what's going to be the best for the betterment of the relationship. All this is just you don't have trust and you interfere and just go to your wife. Like, yeah, how about Blash is going to your wife, telling these issues with no solution?
You can tell them the thing that's coming from the raw emotion and then come with the solution afterwards. if you don't feel comfortable doing that, that's where I'm saying there's a lack of trust.
It's not gonna work out, dog. I'm just telling you.
Okay. You're just saying that, but
no, I'm telling you, it's not gonna work. It's a low probability. You're putting yourself in low probability territory.
Low probability of what? Of the relationship not succeeding? Of her not receiving it well?
Of there being more issues than if you did the other thing.
Issues being what? That is, you hear what you're saying? There's a fear of there being more issues being created from you taking this course of action.
All right.
Could you don't trust the? Come on, are you kidding me? You don't see what I'm saying here?
At a certain point, not even I can be roped though. Like again, you don't believe that. You don't believe there's a fair element of this.
Okay, that's your argument. All right.
I mean, the argument was the concise parts of it was laid out.
I still haven't. Okay,
maybe the full aspects of it we can dig deeper into, but the concise.
Yeah, we can move on.
And there was nothing there that said anything to do with fairs. That's why I don't even know what's being repeated, but it's fine. It's fine. You got it. And I think that is a quintessential example of why conversations about men, even the general conversations about men and women, are no good because they dissolve into what was it? What were they talking about on the podcast? Who even knows at this point? Obviously, I'm being facetious. Obviously, I do know what was we originally talking about all things pertaining to accountability and the inherent negative qualities, characteristics, and traits that the respective sexes hold. And I want to hear from you guys. Damn, there's no cool way to say that, huh? What do you guys think? What do you guys think of?
Way to plug.
What do you guys think?
Just don't even say it. Let people in the comments, if they want to comment. People are gonna forget.
What do you guys think? We want to hear from you guys in the comments, any and all. But if there's nothing else, and there is a lot else we could go into, but for the sake of time, if there's nothing else, we'll ask next topic. Pardon me. The crazy part is I always think we should actually dedicate a decent amount of time to talk about the Grammys because it always does go longer than I originally think.
Go right through this.
Okay, let's see. Okay, so Grammy season is among us. Obviously, the Grammys take place in February, the lit month. But nominations are out and available. So let's just go through the Grammys. Obviously, we don't really particularly care about the Grammys in itself, although we do acknowledge that it is one of the highest, if not the highest, achievement you can receive in the world of music. And it's always dope when your favorite artists get Grammys. I think the fact that Killer Mike literally has a Grammy, that's dope. Okay, so and obviously we don't care about all the categories, so we're just kind of skip to these kind of things. Although sometimes we be going through these pop categories and you guys be, oh, look at her. So maybe let's see. Let's go through it.
Just swiping, right? I don't need to play this.
No, hell don't play it. It's probably copyright music. Okay, album of the year. Andre 3000. That's cool. Although, correct me if I'm wrong, but that Andre 3K album that's the not rap. There's no rap in that, right?
Ain't that the Flute
They put the fucking Flute album?
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
tell me how you guys really feel. So album of the year is obviously like the big one, so we'll just go through it even though I don't know what some of these people are. So Andre 3000, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, Billie Eilish, Chappelle Rowan?
Apple Roan.
Never heard of him. Charlie XCX, Sabrina Carpenter, and Jacob Collier.
They put that. Oh my god.
Again, I don't know who some of these people are, so I am not really authority to speak on this too much. But I would say, because we do gotta do predictions, I would put. I mean, I kind of want Beyonce to get it, but I mean, it's Taylor Swift or Billie Eilish, right? I mean, that's just like you're not being Taylor Swift. Who do you think?
No, there's a lot of big ones on here. Chapel Roan, I think, could take
It
it.
really
Charlie
just went straight
XCX.
pop, huh? But I mean, I haven't of the ones I've heard. I mean, the Billie Eilish album was pretty good, but I think the Chapel Roan one might honestly win.
Yeah.
Or the
Jesus.
Charlie XCX.
Yeah.
I think.
Now I know a little Charlie XCX. There's no way there being Beyonce or Taylor Swift. No way.
The whole Brat Summer thing, it was very big.
Oh.
It was very big.
Fair enough. Again, I haven't even heard the Chapel person, so you guys might. Hey man, I guess they might be the Swifties are tough though. I know you don't beat Swifties, so that's why I said that.
Did we not? We didn't talk about Chapel Roan on the pod. Maybe
We have never talked about Chapel Roan.
What they do?
My fault.
They didn't do no weird shit, no big shit.
No. He talked about how
I
like
know their ethnicity.
fans were being overly like, I don't know, expectant of her to be open to like, taking pictures or things like that, and she kind of completely, or she made a couple of videos basically saying like people that are in the public eye because of whatever music or movies or shouldn't be subjected to that, and like I think she just kind of took a step back from the spotlight as a whole because of it. But I don't know why. I must have talked about it with somebody else, but yeah.
Well,
I don't remember.
If they're Grammy nominated, they didn't take a step back from making music.
This album probably came out earlier this year, so it was before they made that video for sure.
Maybe we'll do some investigative journalism and dig deep into that and see if it's worth anything discussing. Anyway, keep going. Record of the year. This is where I was confused because the first one literally says by the Beatles, and I'm sure not all of them are gone.
Yeah, I would need an explanation.
I don't really get that one. But we also got Texas Hold'em by Beyonce, 360 by Charlie, Espresso by. So this is basically everyone that was just out for the album of the year. Good Luck Babe by Chapel, Not Like Us. This is the crazy one by Kendrick Lamar, Fortnite by Taylor Swift, and Birds of a Feather by Billie Eilish. So the only one that basically is Kendrick Lamar is the kind of outlier, and actually the Beatles is the crazy one here. But yes, the literal diss record is up for a Grammy. And to be fair, I mean, not to get back into the beef, I think when Drake made Back to Back, that also was eligible for a Grammy. So. Yeah, if you make a good enough diss record, it will be Grammy nominated. For this one, again, I'm just playing it safe and going with Beyonce. That's that This Ain't Texas record, right?
I don't even know it, to be honest.
It's a garbage song to me. I think Not Like Us wins.
Nah. I think Birds of a Feather will win. I will say that I'll say two things. Espresso is actually like it's one of the most catchy songs I've ever heard. I don't think it's gonna win, but it's like a quintessential pop song, definition of pop. And this Beatles track, I'm looking this up, and apparently it was an original release from 1973, and they just re-released it in 2023.
What's wrong?
How was it in record of the year?
What were we talking about earlier? They rebooted it. That's the problem.
Apparently, maybe I'm missing something in it. Okay.
Fair enough. Keep going.
All right.
So this is where it kind of gets confusing because the Grammy likes to make a whole bunch of different categories just so everyone can potentially get a win. So again, we got Song of the Year. We got Good Luck
What
Babe.
did we just look at?
We looked at Record of the Year. What do you mean? Don't you know the difference?
Nah.
No.
Bro, there ain't no. There ain't no way.
Yes, we got Song of the Year. It's crazy how you could potentially win Song of the Year and Record of the Year. Yeah, we got the Chapel Roan again. We got Kendrick.
They have two different songs with Sabrina Carpenter. It doesn't make sense.
We got Shabuzi. Sorry, I said his name wrong. That country brother. Billie Eilish again. Lady Gaga. I didn't know Lady Gaga was still making music. And Bruno Mars, Sabrina Carpenter, and Beyonce. Beyonce again. I guess you guys are just going with the same answer you said last time.
I guess.
Keep going. Let's not spend too much time on some of these things that are literally damn near the same thing. Best new artist. Now, this is where, you might not know some of these brothers or sisters. Benson Boone, Sabrina Carpenter. Is Sabrina Carpenter new? I've been hearing
She's absolutely not new.
I've been hearing about Sabrina Carpenter since I was in college.
She is absolutely.
You got Khruangbin on here. Like, what is going on?
That's disgusting. They put Khruangbin on this shit. They've been making music for it's got to be close to 10 years. What the fuck?
Doechii, like you said, Khruangbin. I'm glad you guys said I would not know how to say that. Ray, Chappell, Shabuzi, and Teddy Swims. I think I got to give it up to the rap artists on there and the West Coast artists. But I also want to.
Doechii ain't new either.
I got to be realistic though.
Chappell Rowan.
Yeah, you guys seem to be.
She's not new, but
you guys seem to be gassing up this Chappell, so I'm just gonna go.
I'm not gassing. I don't.
Yeah, I'm just what I think is gonna happen. But again, Khruangbin, their first album came out in 2015, bro.
The fact that Doechii is a Grammy nominated for this, I think is enough. So yeah, I'll go with whatever you guys say.
That's
Keep going.
Crazy, bro.
Best pop solo performance: Beyonce, Sabrina Carpenter, Charlie, Billie Eilish, Chappell. The same artist you've been seeing.
Espresso.
What does that mean?
Pop. It's
the best.
What does it mean by performance?
What do you mean? It's the best.
Who knows, bro?
Pop solo, so one person performance. They performed it.
Where?
Right?
Like in a specific place? Or just
it could be a specific place. It could literally just be a single.
For some of these things, I don't really care. I'm sorry. I know somebody might care, and if this video is a comment, then next time we do the Grammys, we'll have the full definition of you. But for right now, let's keep going.
It's going to be Espresso. I know that much.
Best country solo performance: Beyonce, Jelly Roll, Casey. This is country.
Beyonce. I don't care.
Yeah. Give salute to Beyonce. You deserve it. People like that Jelly Roll brother. So I will say, best country album: Beyonce, Post Malone, country guy, country person. Beyonce. This ain't Texas.
Beyonce's gonna win.
No, Post Malone might take that, or one of those other country people.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. R&B. We care about this a little bit more. We got Chris Brown with his 11/11 album, although it's a deluxe, so I think that should be cheating. What did I say? Venta Black, Layla Hathaway. Are they related to Anna? Revenge, Money Long, Algorithm, Lucky Day, and Coming Home, Usher. I actually heard some of these albums, and none of them give that R&B vibe that's worth a Grammy, but Usher's been doing really good in his I don't want to say legacy years, but in his years, so I'll say Usher.
Yeah, I'll go Usher just because I have more respect for Usher than Chris Brown, I guess. But I don't know anybody else.
I've been giving some BS answers too, so I'll take it. Keep going. Best R&B song: Kalani, Thames, Coco Jones, Money Long, and SZA. I think we actually. Oh yeah. I don't know that Thames song specifically, but people really, 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 really love Thames, so I'm going with Thames.
I think SZA wins it easily. But Saturn's a great
it's
song.
Definitely not easy. You don't go up against Coco Jones and Kalani and think anything's easy. Absolutely not. And Thames, no, I'm not gonna do it.
Oh, I don't like Kalani. Right.
Best R&B performance: Janae. Janae still making records? Chris Brown, Coco Jones, Money Long, and SZA. For this one, unless this Chris Brown record is like a super banger, which we know what a Chris Brown banger sounds like in this day and age. Now I'll go with SZA on this one.
I mean, Chris Brown can dance well, so he probably does.
He can dance well. It's an R&B record. Who got with the dance? Actually, remember all those.
It's a performance.
Yeah. Keep going. Best rap performance. Now we care even a little bit more. Although once you hear some of the artists, you might not care. So we have Cardi B, Enough, Common, and Pete Rock. Salute to Pete Rock, super well deserved. And I saw him on Insta. I'm talking about how he's really happy about this. When the Sun Shines Again, Doechii, Nissan Altima. That's a really good record. Salute to them. Eminem, Houdini.
Get the fuck out of here.
Like that. Future, Metro Boomin, and Kendrick. I'm kind of surprised that's here, but salute to Future, and salute to Metro Boomin, and salute to Kendrick. Glorilla, yeah, Glow. One day we are gonna actually have a conversation about how Glorilla actually did shape to be a relatively established artist, and Kendrick again with Not Like Us. Again, it's not lost on me that a literal diss record calling another man the P word is Grammy nominated.
That's a tough one.
I think Like That wins.
No. I don't want to get debating on here, but no way. Is it haterish if you say Not Like Us winning would be kind of a bit insane?
I think Not Like Us sweeps every category. I'm just especially if it's like videos too. Everything about the song, like, I think it wins.
But you can't win it. You can't say why homeboy got to wear case why is he around and win a Grammy. No, that's not how this works.
He's gonna do it.
No. You know what's crazy? If Eminem don't white privileges, I'm just joking. If Eminem don't get it, Glorilla gotta get it. What you mean?
Yeah. I think I agree.
I don't, but we'll see. You know what I'm shocked at? I am shocked that Sexy Red isn't on this list. Not saying that it's deserved, but I'm shocked that they didn't put her on it.
What's the?
Was this her year? Did she have many songs this year?
Yeah, but what's the Sexy Red banger? Don't answer that.
Bangers, yeah, bangers a term, but the
Are you guys, especially you girls, are you taking in consideration like the significance of like how many women are rapping along to Glorilla as well?
What do you mean?
Right.
Like why? I think Glorilla can win, not just because like we or a guy can rationalize how successful they are and how successful the song is, but the fact that women adore Glorilla and are rapping along to that. I don't know if that's the record.
Bro, I'm just looking at popularity. I don't really think
Like That's not more popular than Glorilla.
Like That.
I mean, obviously, you guys could easily just check the spins on Spotify, but Like That's not. Like That is just the right.
I mean, that song probably has like 500 million. I think.
When I think of Like That, I just think of the record that started the beef. Was it a banger?
It wasn't.
Not started.
It wasn't like that great of a. It wasn't like the best track of the year, but it was a big track. Like it.
It wasn't.
It got a lot of spins, bro. I think you're underplaying it.
Do you think I don't know?
Wow, it got damn near 3 times as many spins as he had Glow on Spotify.
All right.
We're talking hundreds of millions.
Listen, once you show me the numbers, I'm shutting up. Now, also, we do know for a fact it's not just your spins, because I'm pretty sure that Eminem record probably. Actually, I don't know. Eminem might be washed. No, I'm just talking. I'm still going Glow, but yeah, I guess that like that record really did move some.
I think the Sexy Red thing is it's absolutely insane to me that she isn't nominated, because again, she's trash, but I would say she's low-key bigger than Glorilla. She's had multiple songs that are bigger than Glorilla.
I asked what's the banger? We still ain't answer.
I told you one of them was the Looking for the Hoes. One of them was the
Oh yeah. Oh, they have the Drake one too.
Yeah, the Drake one. There's
Rich
another one
Baby
too.
Daddy.
The Ski. Oh no, the big one is Ski.
Ski.
Yeah, like bro.
All right, you're right.
That's very surprising. But
listen, I've been hearing a lot.
Didn't those come out last year?
No,
bro. Listen, I've been hearing a lot of women say it's
Ski 2023.
It's 9 p.m. Friday. I ain't got it, and it got me. I've been hearing a lot of women rap along to that Glorilla record. But you're right. Maybe they're
Yeah,
equivalent.
I guess she gets the multiple deluxes and stuff. So
maybe they're equivalent, if not Sexy Red is big. The fact that we're talking about Sexy Red,
yeah,
compared
she
to
ain't
Red
here.
is-
Sexy Red ain't here anyways. So I guess you don't have to sweat it too much.
Keep going.
I want to see their albums. That's what I'm curious about.
Best melodic rap performance.
You don't
Not
get
R&B. What
fuck
the hell
out of
goes
here,
on
bro.
here?
You don't get out of here.
Kalani, I am super proud of the brother, and I actually brought a record from them. It's more guilty pleasure. Just to be clear, it's more guilty pleasure. Not that I have to explain my music choices, but that brother made a TikTok record, and it is literally up for a Grammy now. Yeah. So the Georgian brother, Beyonce with the Spaghetti record with Linda Martell and Shabuzi. We Still Don't Trust You. I think isn't that the record I brought one week? I feel as if
don't remember.
I
can't keep the track straight because they dropped 2 separate albums and they're both like.
They definitely dropped two albums back to back. But I brought one with Weeknd, and I think that is the one because I really liked it. I feel as if you bring
it has the Weeknd in it, so maybe it is.
I feel as if one of us bring a record that ends up winning a Grammy. There should be some type of bet in that.
All right.
Anyway, Lotto and Rhapsody. Wait, salute to Rhapsody. We're not going to years to pass. Rhapsody being Grammy nominated and potentially getting Grammy is crazy. But for this one, Kalani. That's a TikTok record. You don't beat that.
Yeah, there's another TikTok record that low key should be on this list. That isn't.
Oh, hold on. Almost. Oh, sorry. Keep going. I almost passed by a big one. No?
Nah, it's another guilty pleasure record, to be honest.
Keep going.
That's song by JP.
Here we go. Best rap album. Now when I saw this, my jaw damn near dropped. Might delete later. Cole.
Get that? Nah. Immediately invalidates entire list.
The Auditorium, Volume 1, Common Pete Rock. Super salute to Pete Rock. I'm like that as a genuine supporter and fan of hip hop. I think we should all clap it up for Pete Rock on that one. Alligators Bites Never Heal. Joshi. The Death of Slim Shady. And We Don't Trust You, Future and Metro Boomin. What do you guys predict for this one?
Doechii should win. Doechii will win. 10 out of 10 album.
I think Eminem's gonna win, but I do agree Doechii should win.
The thing is, hear me out, goes. As bad as the Cole album is, it would be so dope if the guy that's been saying F the Grammys ever since he basically came out won the Grammy.
Okay.
But
it was so bad. Like, even outside of the whole 7-minute drill BS, no one liked that album. Critics didn't like that album. Fans didn't like that album. J. Cole fans didn't like that album. Hip hop fans, nobody liked it. I can't believe it's nominated.
I'm to be clear, I'm actually surprised. I don't think it should be Grammy nominated as well. I think it makes me feel as if like there was a lack of albums that they would put this here, but we always find out at the end of the year there's a million albums that drop. So I don't know. You all know me. I love Cole, but Cole doesn't deserve to be here at all. I think you might be right. Actually, no. If Future and Metro Boomin are up to win a bunch of Grammys or nominated to win a bunch of Grammys already, then it must be that. I'll say Doechii deserves to win, but I guess Future and Metro, they're probably gonna win it.
Doechii's gonna win. They're gonna get it right for once.
Eminem, just even if they give it to you, just don't even accept it. And last but not least, best rap song: Asteroids, Rhapsody, Carnival, Kanye, Ty Dolla $ign, Lil Rich Kid, and Playboi Carti. Like that. It's no big three, just Big Me. Feature Metro Boomin, Kendrick, Not Like Us. Again, it's crazy. And yeah, Glow. I think again, even though it's You can't make a diss record, especially that disrespectful, and win a Grammy. I think this is the one where Not Like Us.
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna win.
Nice.
Yeah, I like us.
Damn, it's gonna be such a doubling down on how bad Drake lost. If Not Like Us wins a Grammy.
Notice how he didn't get nominated for a single track because they know he's not going to be there.
Single one.
He is not going to be there.
I mean, just because one of the records gets Grammy nominated, obviously that doesn't make it like the best diss record. It just
I'm not saying it validates it. I'm just saying that they didn't nominate him at all because they know he's not going to. Imagine if him and Kendrick were in attendance.
I mean, to be clear, none of the records are bangers. Which, I mean,
no, not even just his. Are you talking about the diss records?
Yeah.
I mean, he's been on other tracks too. Like Drake didn't even make an appearance this year.
Yeah, that's my whole thing. It isn't about the diss track. It's about him.
Oh, you're talking about the fact that Drake's not nominated at all. I mean, Drake didn't drop any bangers. These are bangers at the end of the day. Well, actually,
you know what?
How many times has Drake dropped the past years they weren't bangers, but he was still nominated for whatever reason?
No, but in the past they were bangers. But I guess I say bangers. I mean, we're always using bangers liberally, but actually, Rhapsody is the GOAT. But I don't know if any of the records are bangers. So I guess that's actually not the qualification, to be honest. But regardless, I think we're unanimous on what's gonna win this year. And man, Kendrick's really greatest rap battle of all time. Anyway. So yeah, that's your Grammy predictions from us. We always, even though again we don't necessarily hold the Grammys to as high as the standard as others platforms might. It's music related, and some of the artists we do appreciate. You guys be doing the pop artists. It never fails me. Is this a girl? Chapel? What's their banger? Which one should I look out for?
I'm not gonna endorse anything.
But you know that they're good enough to win a Grammy, huh?
100%.
Anyhow,
I got my finger on the pulse.
Yeah, clearly. I like it because y'all know I don't. Anyway, and once Grammy awards happen, we'll come back on here and hopefully I'll remember the predictions and we'll see what happens. But
real quick, I will say, I'm surprised Camila Cabello didn't make an appearance. I love it. I really like that song.
Oh my god, I'm happy I didn't get nominated, bro.
Oh yeah,
I forgot you like that song.
I was gonna say I was gonna say for the albums, is there anything that for the rap albums? I guess go back real quick. Even though I was just about to close it out. I think there's one thing back. Is there anything that should have been on here? I feel
that realistically would have been. I mean, it would have been nice for them. They would never do it, but give Ka a nomination.
He did drop this year.
They usually give nominations to rappers when they pass.
Yeah, he deserves one too.
He obviously, he deserves it every year he drops. But yeah, there's no way.
Yeah, that's true. Damn.
Were there any other?
Oh, Lupe could have been nominated.
Man, that Schoolboy Q, bro, that shit.
People really did like people really did like Blue Lips, so yeah, that also.
Bro, the album was so good.
I'm going through it. I don't see many super big ones.
The Boldy James ones are mid. The Benny the Butcher one was mid.
Yeah, to be honest, the little list I'm looking at, the biggest ones are the Glorilla, the Blue Lips, Suba. So I guess Scuba Q would be my option for.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Vince Staples dropped this year. I'm surprised
Schoolboy Q should have been on this list. Get Cole out of here. Absolutely, get out of here.
Vince Staples could have been on.
But that's just taking a quick look. Obviously, we're no.
You said Vince Ghost.
Yeah, to be honest, you were just saying some names I don't agree with.
He got nominated one of these years, I think. I'm pretty sure he got nominated one year.
Yeah, for probably like Summertime '06 or something like that.
No, it was. I gotta look it up.
It actually wasn't Summertime. Because Summertime was happened a man long time ago, and he got nominated relatively recently, in recent years, I should say. Anyway, so yeah, sometimes people just don't make it. It is what it is. But that's how we can move on to get off your chest. I think we got through all the topics. So obviously, we bumped into some topics of discussion that kind of extended some topics, but one, we conduct the videos and edit them up so you can consume it that way. And we are super appreciative for all the people that like, comment on those videos. And two, the best content is sometimes the ones the content that's unexpected. So nothing wrong with that. So for get off your chest, there's only one rest in power to give out, but it is quite the power behind this individual. Pull up that post, Ace.
That's it. Did I just open the same thing?
So yes, we got to come on here and give an extended, deep condolences to the family and loved ones of Quincy Jones. I saw somebody say that Quincy Jones is one of, if not the most important producers of all time, and I think that's definitely potentially true. Yeah, from working with Michael Jackson, of course. What they say, he worked with Frank Sinatra. Yeah, Quincy Jones is just like there's no one that hasn't heard of his works in some capacity, and he lived a hell of a life. Like you go back and listen to some of their interviews, or some people that have interviews and they talked about working with Quincy Jones, or even just being in somewhat of a space with Quincy Jones. There's definitely a lot of stories and just an incredible amount of history behind this brother. So yeah, definitely rest in power. Man, that's the whole legend. Salute to Joey Badass. Legends never die. But that was all I had. Let me go here. Let me do this. Oops. There we go. Let me fix this. Go here. And then I go back here. Oops, that's not what I wanted. There we go. So, unless there's anything else to get off anybody's heart or chest, any walkbacks or anything that we might have missed going through the topics. Yeah. Great content as usual. I appreciate you guys' energy, even though there was a small lack of visuals in this podcast. I think you made up for it with your takes, Ghost. But as always, in all seriousness, thanks to you guys for coming out here and doing this podcast thing. Super appreciative for you guys taking time to keep going through this podcast, the motions of podcasting. And we are all over here appreciative and thankful for any and all listeners. We are super appreciative of y'all. And we hope that by listening to our podcast that you might have gained a perspective, or you might have learned something new, like the fact that if you are consuming a certain amount of YouTube these days, you might be able to, you might get an email in the near future. You may qualify for a settlement of X amount of dollars. Or we just hope that you find it entertaining. But if none of that happened to you, then all we can say to you is be warmed and be filled. Thank you.
No, we haven't been doing the looking forward to.
Why do you say that as soon as I stop recording? Oh, no. You're absolutely right. And I usually write stuff like that down in my notes, but I forgot. Well, next time you'll have even more stuff to look forward to, unless you do the thing that you're looking forward to in the time that we the next part. Anyway,